What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Funkatopia Live. I can't wait to share this video file. We're going to be doing this at the beginning. We'll do it when we first start the show at 8.
It's good stuff. Boom, there's our intro. Perfect.
What's going on, Andre? Andre's in the house. Susie, hello, hello. I'm hoping that anyways, welcome one and all. I don't want to be talking too much. We're going to be kicked off before we even start, because I guess we got to turn down the music, because if we don't, then we're going to get kicked off. So I got to keep talking for sure. Lisa, hello, everybody. Laura, what's going on? Shirley, what's going on? Susie, hello, hello, hello. Susie already said hello, but you can get a second hello for sure. April, what's going on, April? Jeff, you like your new name?
Man, Jeff the Page, the Rage.
Jeff Page, the Rage.
Well, you got to put the Rage in parentheses, Jeff the Rage Page, and then
change it. Put it in whatever format you want. It's all good.
Oh,
man, what's going on? All you fine folks on Facebook, we're going to be having some good time. Lori, what's going on? Again, make sure that we got to make sure that you can hear the music a little bit, anyways. And tonight we're going to be having this is a pre-show for those of you guys just tuning in. We do this where we kind of come on for about 10-15 minutes before the show, kind of give you an opportunity to be able to come in, hang out, just chat with us directly, ask some random ass questions, and then we start the show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's actually a good question. Brian asked, will this interview be on Patreon? Actually, yes, it will. And we got some news about how we're going to handle Facebook, or how we're going to handle the videos moving forward. And we'll talk about that in the first part of the show. So don't go anywhere, because I think we have found something that works, that is going to be, I don't know, Jeff, what do you think? I think it's going to be something that's going to be beneficial anyways.
Yeah, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be good.
Dawn, hello, hello. Maria, hello, hello.
Rupinda.
Lisa is in the house. Yvette, hello. Lori, anybody that's on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, anybody that's watching on YouTube, please make sure that you click like or follow us. Even though we're where we need to be right now on YouTube for the moment, we want to just keep on building on that, and we're gonna be doing all kinds of craziness. So just stay tuned. It's gonna be lots of fun.
Yeah, we'll
be opening the phone lines tonight too, which is gonna be awesome, and it is gonna be really, really cool. I may open the phone lines early because I want to talk about some other elements too, and I may do that before we actually start this whole process, and we'll do this too. But we're gonna make sure that you guys can actually call in and actually give us a little bit of opinion on something that we're going to be talking about that's going to be pretty messed up. Not messed up, but it's something that's really hot in the Prince world right now. We're actually kind of very you're going to see how I feel about it, but we're going to have a little bit of talk about it. So we'll open the phone lines that you talk about it. Also, we're opening the phone lines to kind of let you guys tell us about your celebrity hangouts, people that you've met. I mean, it's got to be something better than, hey, I saw Shaq at Quick Trip. We want stories that go with your celebrity sightings. Maybe I've got some stories. Jeff has some stories. I'm sure Rob has some stories. Everybody has stories that are funny, where you get to meet somebody and they get to be part of a really kind of weird moment in your life. And that's going to always be awesome. And I've got plenty of stories. I could literally tell stories all night, but we're not going to do that. We're going to allow you to tell stories. But before we do that, we're going to talk about Prince news starting at 8 o'clock. Well, some basic news and then also Prince news. And then 9 o'clock, the one and only beautiful, talented Ashley Tamar Davis is going to be with us. We're going to be talking about her brand new album called My Name is Ashley. We're going to be doing that at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, we need the sound effects. We didn't even think to even do that. I didn't think to do that. I've got so many pieces going on here. You wouldn't believe. I've got the sound effects and Spotify if we happen to play some clips. I've got photos because I wasn't sure if Rob was going to make it tonight or not. I've got the photos over here, and we've got the phone lines that we're going to open up. That's over here. So it's like, and the board, and this. It's just
there's not enough monitors in the world. That's all I'm saying.
This is not enough. We need random people, I guess. We need some producers where if something doesn't go the way that it's supposed to, I can just yell at somebody. You know, I can just, hey, what's going on? I got to make sure that.
Hey, Alana, how's it going? Hey. Oh.
All right. I'm keeping an eye out for Rob too because I've got. Here he is. He's actually here. He's actually just tuned in. We'll get him on board too. Yeah, I want to make sure we're not missing everybody. Yeah, April already knows what we're talking about. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Torah book. We're going to be talking about that. I'm just, we got some interesting things that are going to be happening with this too, and we'll talk about those too. Laura, what's going on? Elena, what's going on? Let me see if I can spread this wide enough to get Rob in there. Rob, what's going on, man? Wow.
What the hell does that mean?
That came out so bad.
This is just, man, talk about going.
I haven't even started drinking yet. Oh my God!
At least you accomplished the spread or whatever you were trying to do.
Oh my gosh, Lawrence, how you doing, brother? As I see you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was telling Jeff that maybe next week. Yeah, Cammie, we were noticing that Cammie said,
yes.
Cammie said basically, if you received a friend request from Cammie Mattingly today, it was her. She had to restart after being hijacked on her Facebook page because actually Jaden came to me and said, "Is this actually Cammie?" And I saw it, and it had a couple Prince pictures on it too, and the profile, but it was not her. And I was like, "That's kind of messed up." That was kind of messed up. So, anyways, yeah, I was like, no, that's not Cammie. Kill that one. So, yeah. So, anybody that's friends with Cammie, that's how it goes. Listen, yeah, tonight we're going to be having a lot of fun tonight. Again, we're still in the middle of a pre-show. We got about 3 minutes, and then we're going to be starting live here. We're actually playing Alphabet Street, the version. This is not music. This is a trip. And we got 3.5 minutes, and then we will be on live. And again, tonight we're going to be talking about some news. We're going to talk about some Prince news. Plus, on top of that, at 9 p.m., we'll be joined by Ashley Tamar Davis, who's going to be talking about her brand new album and also sharing some Purple stories. I asked her to deep and see if she could come up with any Prince stories that maybe she hasn't told before. And what did I miss?
I don't know. It came out terrible.
It's okay.
It was not.
It's going to get worse as the night goes.
Hey.
And
we're going back to the old ways? Come on, we can't do that. Here, everything's getting better.
And then we're going to break into, for the last part of the show, we're going to be breaking into celebrity stories, if we even have time for that. We're talking about some celebrity stories, your celebrity stories, where you can tell us stories about celebrities that you've met and talked with, that have intervened with your life at some point, that has a funny story attached to it. Now, again, not just, I saw Lady Gaga buying underwear at Sam's Club. There's got to be something else there.
That's all I got, man.
Don't get me wrong. That would be an interesting story because then we would spiral down. What type of underwear were they?
We bought the same underwear.
But we are still in the pre-show. That's about to end here really soon. And then we're going to break into the show. So I'm really, really excited. But this pre-show kind of gives us an opportunity to sit and just chat. Elena says she has a Janet Jackson story. Can't wait to hear that.
Sweet.
There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Again, if you are following us on YouTube, make sure that you click follow because it's important. And also click that little bell too, the little notification bell, because whenever we post a new video, you'll get a notification that we posted a new video. I have that on the Mr. Beast videos. So
actually, what we need to do is make it so it goes like.
Oh yeah, we do have that. We do have that. We do have the.
Yeah, there you go.
We got to sit through and watch it.
Instead of a bell, that's what we need.
But, Rob, was that your version of fair? That was my fair.
God, dude, I've lost everything. That just comes out like a gun.
I got my own fairs.
That's why you're here.
That's
There
right.
it is. Yeah. It all goes south from here, folks. Oh, it's about that time. Hold on a second. We got 30 seconds. All right, everybody ready? Jeff, I didn't tell you that it was wine night. Jeff Page, the Rage, had an opportunity to go and get his drink. I actually have a new mug.
Ooh,
Very cool. Very fancy mug.
Ooh, I like that.
All right.
I'm hurting. I can't take the rage off. I can't change it.
All right, hold on.
If you log out and log back in, you might be able to do
Today
it.
I was styling in my band.
All right. We gotta turn off
432
the music.
hertz.
Hold on. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Funkatopia Live. You guys hear me okay? You guys hear me all right?
Who, you?
Yeah, man.
I hear you.
Gotcha.
I don't really trust you, Rob. Please tell me you can hear me okay.
Can't hear you very well over the music. Woo! Damn. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
That one again.
Funkatopia.
Come on, let's do it. Funkatopia Live.
Oh.
All right, let's stop this music here and let's get into it. Welcome, one and all. It's Mr. Christopher with the Funkatopia Radio Show. Oh, that's so abrupt and painful and whatnot, but that's okay. It's all good. Mr. Christopher with the Funkatopia Radio Show with my illustrious co-host, Jeff Page, the Rage. Oh, yes, that's right. And Rob Rhythm.
Yeah. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, quack, quack.
And so welcome one and all. It is Funkatopia Live. We have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And as probably Jeff and Rob, who tuned into the notes this morning and were like, what the hell is going on? 10 pages of notes. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about because initially what was going to happen. Now, here's what tonight is basically going to be. We only had two things to talk about, which were going to be one is that tonight we have the amazing and talented Ashley Tamar Davis in the house.
Yes.
She's going to be with us.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. We really got to find out. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just.
Okay. It is
Goal!
I don't know. It's just there's a bunch of other ones here. Again, we haven't really done much of these.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
I guess that's one. Anyways, she's going to be here talking about her brand new album. My name is Ashley.
How else are you supposed to keep your panties?
Shouldn't
you bunch them together and put them in a drawer?
Yes.
Those are the ones you steal during the raids.
Hey, folding them's a pain in the ass. Don't do that.
Yes. So she is going to be talking about her brand new album. And of course, she's going to be bringing some purple stories as well. And also we wanted to open up the phone lines because we are going to be talking about, celebrity meetings that you may have had. Now, I was going to do this before we actually went on the air, but I did not. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that we go on air to allow you guys open up the phone lines to allow you to call in to ask questions to Tamar if you want, but also to talk a little bit about some of the news that we're going to be discussing. And then on top of that, we're going to be talking about celebrity meetings, people that Jeff, you and Rob, all these stories that you may or may not have, but also everybody out there. We want to hear some of your celebrity stories, some funny stories of people that you've met and whatnot. And we're going to be open up the phone lines, let you take part in that. But man, it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Got a lot to pack in for sure. And it's going to be fun. Look at all these great, fine people that are in the mix here.
Wonderful people.
Yes, all these wonderful people. Cami is in here. Elena, Marcia is in here. Jeremy, Mei-Ling, Stonepool, Little Red Corvette's in the house. That's always good. And,
Lenny.
RD, yep. Lawrence is in here. I mean, there's so many people in the chat room. If you're listening on the Funked Up app and you want to join us via video and look at our faces for some reason, you can absolutely do that on facebook.com/Funkatopia. You can also go to youtube.com/Funkatopia or mixcloud.com/Funkatopia. And so you can go to a variety of different places. But we're going to spend this first hour before Tamar comes on to join us. We're going to be spending this first hour discussing, we're going to be discussing some news.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun part because this is definitely going to be a proactive discussion for sure. Because we got some stuff to talk about that has got some people riled up. But on top of that, we've also got some positive news as well. And I'm going to need to try to find some time where I can turn the microphone over to you, Jeff, or you, Rob, just long enough, like a minute, just long enough for me to be able to log into the call-in studio so that we can actually open up the phone lines, which I did not do. But I will. I will. But...
What the fuck?
That's so violent. Oh my God, that's so violent.
Or you could just do that.
We could
I mean, that give you plenty of time.
do that. It was so violent. So violent.
Makes no
Wow.
sense.
I'm gonna set up the phone.
I wish I could I really gotta put like a little note on that one. Do not touch that one again.
And not
Self-destruct sequence activated.
That's it.
10,
That's
9.
exactly what that was.
Yes, exactly. But yes, we are going to have a lot of fun. Andre's like, too loud. Says the loudest participant in the room.
Right. Oh, great active one.
Oh, great. Yeah, he definitely gets top fan.
Absolutely.
Yes. Andre, I loved your countdown. He actually did his favorite picks for the top 5 Prince related shows on the internet, and Funkatopia Live was number 1. Thank you, Andre. Thank you. Yeah, I can't even.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. That's the good stuff there. Anyways, we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, and let's start talking about the news. Well, and here's the other thing too, is that first off, I want to do 2 massive shout outs before we start the show. The first is actually kind of a combination shout out, because the first is a huge thank you to Cassandra Bradley, where'd that card go? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I'm here. Cassandra Bradley sent me a really, really nice, cool thank you card. Just
nice.
It's a really, really cool. Just and I can't really tell because I'm on. I can't really see. Yeah, so it's a really cool thank you card. This is actually just a thank you card to me and the Funkatopia team, and just wanted to thank us for all that we do for the Purple community, and looking forward to seeing us at the screening viewing party on October 1st. I don't even know which one that is. But all right, yeah, I'm maybe that's October 1st. That's my mother's birthday. But yeah, it's actually cool. It's got this really cool cover on it, and on top of that is also got the "May You Live to See the Dawn," Prince Rogers Nelson. On the it's actually cool. We should figure out some.
Wow.
Yeah, because then you got to tell us where you got these.
Automatically, we got to know.
Automatically, you could say you want to sell these on Etsy. You could probably sell packs and packs and packs and packs of this. But another major, huge shout out to a huge shout out to Carrie Martinez, who's also a Funkatopia listener and watcher, and she watched our deluxe show. Jeff and I did the deluxe show where we talked about every single deluxe edition that has been released since his passing. We talked about Purple Rain, we talked about 1999, we talked about Sign of the Times Deluxe, we talked about all these things. And one of the things I said is that there's one that I could not display was the Originals. The Originals album did have a deluxe edition, but that was the only one that I didn't have, so I wasn't able to show it. And lo and behold, yesterday in the mail, she sent I'm no joke. She sends me the Originals deluxe edition of Prince's Originals. So, man, I can't even unfreaking believable. What an amazing gift. That is just unreal.
You gotta be careful. You got to be careful with stuff you send. It's a good thing we're not in the same office because we'd be like, har, har, har.
I know. I'd have been all over that.
Actually,
I liked Originals. I don't know. I know a lot of people weren't as
I liked it. I just felt like the songs on it were limited enough where I was like, I really would like to see everything that's in there.
You just wanted more. You always want more.
Well, anyways,
you're never satisfied.
Yeah, I know. But a huge shout out to Carrie Martinez. Thank you so much for that really awesome gift.
Thank you.
So now I have all the deluxe editions. So now I just got to keep on doing that until I die, and then I'll have all the deluxe editions, and then my prodigy can take it from there.
Hey, when you're done, can I have your room?
There's dibs on this stuff. You believe? Like literally, there are dibs on individual pieces in my room. Like I have the very, very last ticket from Prince's final concert, the last ticket stub, from that show. I have in a box, and literally, Rodney Fitzgerald has already claimed, he's like, if you die before I do, I got to give you, you have to get me that ticket. And I'm just like, what do I get if you die before me?
Leave him the ticket.
He told me that if he died before me, that he would get he would give me the original pressing that he has of the Black Album.
Oh
wow, sweet.
So we're on death watch, folks.
I need to work out some death pact. Anybody want to work out a death pact with me?
Where does he live again?
What?
Where does he live again?
Yes, Carrie's in the house. Yes, Carrie, thank you so much. She's actually in the house. It is she's the best. You're the best, Carrie. Love you. Love you so much.
I love you, but if you die.
I love you.
Regardless of whether it's natural causes, an accident, or whatever.
Oh, it's so sad, but here's my address to send me.
Be careful what you agree to. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and the other thing too is that you're going to have to wrestle it out of my daughter's hands, who is probably. But I'm sure it's probably something that's not going to happen. But it is what it is. Anyways, and so my next shout out goes to this man right here, the one and only Jeff Page, the Rage. Yeah, man, dude, let me tell you. Jeff has been on board now for a few weeks. Yeah, you're gonna have. Yeah, there you go. You got it. This guy right here. He's been on board with Funkatopia Live for a few weeks now, but man, he has gone totally. You have. Hats off, because you have gone completely 100% all in. He has been logging into the Funkatopia website at funkatopia.com, and he has been making all types of aesthetic adjustments. He's been fixing the video page. He does web development. And so he's just kind of been going in and making a bunch of different adjustments and things. And there's going to be, it's just, every time I turn around, there's something else that he's changing and putting his hands on. And it's just like, wow, this is just friggin' unbelievable, man. Just incredible. And so hats off to you, man. That is fantastic. And
thank you, man. Small adjustments, man. Small adjustments.
I like your version better.
I know exactly.
It's a much better Rasta horn, and it's not as brash. So
Yeah,
I hate you all so much.
but I will share, like, it's small adjustments, you know what I mean, little changes, but I promise you, everybody keep checking in, keep your eyes on the site, because the social media continues, things get locked down. Eventually we're going to be having to change where we stream. Like, there's going to be so many adjustments, so just keep coming to the site. At some point we're going to have people registering again, and as things adjust, you'll see. I'm going to keep the overall look, but just little things. So, that's what we want you guys ultimately anyways. We want to be able to reach you regardless of what social media does. So stay with us.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I really appreciate it, because I know we're planning to make like tons of different adjustments to the website. There are so many changes that are coming for Funkatopia as a whole. You're going to see some massive changes that are going to be coming to the social media side of things, the way that we post information, the way that we post videos.
Yep.
So there's going to be tons of different things. One of the things that I wanted to mention too, and I think I'm going to be going out of order on the notes, but now screw it. We'll actually do it. But I'm going to share this screen because this is actually very, very cool. Is that so small? Story of my life.
Where's my magnifying glass?
Anyways, so many of you know that we were on YouTube for years, and we had tons of followers, thousands of followers, and we got kicked off for a variety of different things, just because we were playing music, and it was just a bunch of different things, and we ended up having a big problem where our YouTube account got locked down. So we had to start over from scratch. We re-uploaded a bunch of videos, and now we're trying to get back up all our views, and it was just been a friggin' mess. But I am happy to announce that even after restarting everything, we finally reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is, the fact of the matter is that, even though 1,000 is nothing to brag about at all, because our numbers before were so much better, but we are in a scenario where, again, we had to start over. But a shout out to another shout out to the one and only band, the Japanese funk band, Endrasherry. And I think I have, there we go. The funk band Endrasherry, who decided that they wanted to go ahead and tell their people to go ahead and follow Funkatopia on YouTube, because we've been supporting them and playing their music on the radio station, and they just sent their fans in droves, and they came and just layered onto the website and just followed away and kicked us over that 1,000 mark. And so I'm really it's pretty awesome. And
I'll tell you now, as you guys are checking it out on YouTube, share those videos, man. Keep telling people, because that's how we grow, and that's how everybody grows. And to this band, this group, those guys, if you haven't heard this release, this album, oh my gosh, these songs are strong. Seriously, from the moment the first song comes on, I found myself bumping. I don't know what they're singing.
It's all in Japanese, but I don't know what's going on. But a lot of them you can actually go to, and I'll have to share this link, because I'll share this link for everybody to kind of check it out. But they actually have a website that actually most of these songs are available to be able to play. I thought .in was India, was it not? Is it not? But apparently they have Tsuyoshi Demoto, who is that gentleman right there. He is actually basically Endrasherry. He is like a Prince type of figure, and they are huge in Japan. I mean, they're huge. They're huge. And so it's really, really cool that I got a brand new album out. I don't know if I can actually play any tracks or not. I'm trying to see if this will actually play. There you go. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, so they got some of this stuff here. I gotta be real careful. I'm just gonna play a little. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I mean, these guys are incredible. I'm just playing little clips. I mean, they've got. I mean, some of it's rock, and some of it's. I'm only playing little teeny clips. But anyways, yeah. So I just wanted to play a couple of clips, primarily because of the fact that if I play more than that, we're going to get kicked off of YouTube. We're going to start that whole thing again. Because last time we played a longer clip from Ender Sherry. I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but we only played it for like 15 seconds and we were talking over it on top of that. And immediately we were kicked off of YouTube. It was like, God bless America. Anyways, yeah. So Ender Sherry, thank you guys so much. We got some.
I don't think I've heard this. Is this a new release? Because
I new release.
It's new release. And it's really good. I'm really good. I went through the songs and I was just like, wow, the ones that you could listen to that were actually available. I was just like, this is good stuff. Like,
yeah, these
real.
guys are incredible. And that
URL, Love Faders, I think, just came out last year. That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is that link that I just posted is going to be the link that I just posted is their new album that gets released on October 6th. So it is going to be amazing, and this will be good for Press John. Just so you know, yes, we are still in discussion to get them onto the show. They are looking for a good translator that speaks Japanese and English that will be able to communicate well and and not make it an unbearable format to watch. But they're looking for somebody that will work really, really well. And as soon as they find somebody, they're going to be reaching out to us and we're going to be having him on the show, which is massive, by the way. I just want you to know, because again, these guys they're like the equivalent. They're like the equivalent of Drake over there. I mean, they're so big. They like do a show and it's just like sold out immediately. It's like, they're just huge. So to get these guys Tsuyoshi on the show is just going to be, it's going to be awesome if it happens or when it happens.
I say when, not if. It will happen. It will happen because you're going on my playlist, guys. So you better be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is another thing that I wanted to share too. A little bit of a sad news. I'm kind of going out of the loop here. A little bit of the sad news is that the show that I was going to be going to in Asheville, North Carolina this weekend, the Big Old Nasty Get Down, where they have a bunch of members from Earth, Wind and Fire and Fishbone and all these different band members. They were all supposed to be doing this jam band type of thing for the Big Old Nasty Get Down in Asheville, North Carolina. And there was another one in South Carolina too. Both of those shows were canceled due to COVID. And so if you were all excited to go to Big Old Nasty Get Down, that show is canned right now. They are going to be rescheduling it, but they are just, they are really kind of washing out their wounds right now because it's been a little bit of a mess for them because this particular venue is closed down. But it's surprising that it's going to be shut down because in downtown Asheville, they've got this group called The Leaf.org that is doing a huge music festival. It's like the equivalent of the Dogwood Festival here in Atlanta. And it's going to be in downtown Asheville. They're still doing that. But this particular show, I guess because it's in an enclosed venue, it's going to be canceled. So really, really bummed.
It's too bad.
So if you are planning to go to the Big Old Nasty Get Down, definitely get your refunds on your tickets because it has been canceled. So very bummed about it.
It's sad because we have our desires. We want to get back on stage and we want to go out there, but people are not being smart. And so this is what's going to happen. And it's going to continue that way,
Yep.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about the video part of this too. The video that you're watching right now, this is actually recorded in its entirety. And once this show is done, basically it goes to YouTube and it goes to Facebook. And on top of that, the audio version of it goes to Mixcloud. But we're going to be doing something a little bit different with the operational structure of how we're doing this show on YouTube. So, and well, I guess technically Facebook too, but we're going to be, as soon as the video is over, we're going to be going to YouTube and we're going to be unlisting the URL for the entire show. So you will not be able to watch the live show right after this. That link will be given to the Patreon supporters. If you support us on Patreon, that's patreon.com/Funkatopia. And I can actually put up this link, but it's patreon.com/Funkatopia. You can actually go there and become a member like Jeff over here. He's actually in this mix. He's a board of directors level. But we are so Patreon supporters will be able to still see the full unedited, crazy, going down rabbit holes, all the things that we didn't mean to say live on air. We did it anyways. Things they will all still be able to see that YouTube video. But what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be downloading this video and we're going to be editing it. So for instance, tonight we're going to have Tamar on and we're going to be doing an interview with Tamar, and we'll just put up just the Tamar portion of the video, just to make these videos a little bit more digestibles, not ingestibles or digestibles, but just to make it a little bit more just easier to watch and easier to just to check out.
We get right to the point.
Yeah, it's just, so we're going to have interview, you'll watch it. Yeah.
There's a point.
We don't do that here. Right. But in the videos, you get to see.
So Patreon supporters get to hear us ramble on, not get around to a point. Anyway,
we're a big family, right? Everybody? We're a family.
Yeah, everybody here is, we're all good. We're all good.
How it is.
And so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then on top of that, so also we'll be taking that celebrity portion where you're going to tell us your celebrity stories. We're also going to be doing that, and that will be cut out. And if we have any really, really funny moments, we'll take those and do. We're basically making little smaller digestible videos as opposed to this 3-hour long, painful to swallow video.
We're making a pizza too.
Snippets. It's actually a bull. It's a bull.
It's a bull, man.
It's a bull. A 3-hour video.
Wow, I see the ball.
This down. Choke it down.
Hey, you guys, cut it out.
You guys.
I'm a fire in my laser.
So, anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're seeing all kinds of different things that are going to be happening. I'm going to try to be more active on Twitter. If I can't, then I'm just going to give Jeff the access and let him do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do the hell out of it.
And
so it's going to be a lot.
He's going to edit me out of all of them. Like, we don't need you, Robin, here. You can
So-
everything up.
So, all right. So let's talk about some Prince news, shall we? I think Prince news is warranted. Everybody loves Prince news, and this weekend, Saturday, August 28th, if you were planning to go to the Big Old Nasty Get Down, don't do that because it's not happening. Get on a plane and go to Minneapolis instead, because they are going to be doing a DJ dance party. Paisley Park After Dark presents a DJ dance party with DJ Lenka Paris from 7 to 11 at Paisley Park. You can go to paisleypark.com and get tickets. But if you've never seen DJ Lenka Paris do a Prince set, oh my God, it's just amazing. I got an opportunity to see her do her thing at First Avenue in Minneapolis, and I was just like, holy crap. To be in First Avenue and her up there with all this, it's just, oof, it's an amazing show. So you definitely want to be there. And so if you're not doing anything, that's where you need to go. So.
Wow. Sounds like fun. I got a buddy. He's a director for film and television. He's awesome. His name is Bobby Huntley, man. He's going to be there. And he did a couple of years ago, he did that big, nice documentary after Prince passed with a bunch of fans and everything. Yeah. If you see him, say, hey, what's up, Bobby? He doesn't have to know you. Who cares? Now the place is awesome. I haven't been yet, as I've told everybody before, I confess, but anybody who gets tickets, go do the full tour, do the full everything, and enjoy these shows, and then come tell us about them.
Hey, Elena's mentioning too also that you need to be vaccinated too. I assume you have to show your card. Is that right, Elena?
That could very well possibly be that you need to show your vaccination card. That could very well be.
You might want to check into that.
Yeah.
Sorry to be the dad.
No,
I get faded.
I'm vaccinated. I actually took a picture of my card, but I think I have my card in my wallet too. But are you guys vaccinated? I'm not going to start a war here, am I? I'm not doing that crap.
I'm definitely vaccinated.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had to be. Jeff is staying uncomfortably.
I got one of the two.
Hey, yeah, I've been around needles before, you know.
Yeah, so we'll just leave it there for Jeff.
Hey, I only keep friends who've been vaccinated. Therefore,
What
I thought that was the new way we were going to distribute our website through the chip. That comes in the vaccination.
That's right. You can download. Yeah, you can download the album through your arm. You can just say, "Wait, I'm getting it." Oh, that is a great album. Yes, love it. Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. What else was I gonna share today? Oh, this is actually pretty cool. I may have to share my screen for this, but the official store.prince.com, they have actually released a bunch of really cool merchandise for Welcome to America, and it is pretty awesome. I mean, not only can you get the album, you don't already have the albums, but on top of that, they have the Rolling Stone magazine that has the album on top of it. They have Welcome to America mugs. They have sticker sheets, tote bags, really cool T-shirts, by the way.
I was gonna say, let's take a closer look at that T-shirt.
yeah, I saw that stuff come in. I'm like, wow.
Yes, that is the.
I like that.
So that is the Welcome to America. Yeah, I like.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's a good shot.
Yeah.
And it's $40. And if you've ever
Only
$40, but let me go ahead and tell you this: if you've ordered something from Prince Shop before, you can go into your emails and search for your email, because they are doing free shipping over $30 on some items and stuff. So you'll be able to save the shipping if you just check your email. Don't get carried away. Check your email. But look at all this stuff. They got guitar blankets, wraparound pillows, and Welcome to America heart pillows. Oh, this is actually cool. This is a wraparound T-shirt. It's got the Welcome to America logo. The various Prince stances that go all the way around the whole entire shirt on the bottom.
If I wear it, it'll look like a funhouse mirror. It'll be like, whoa. Whoa, what happened to Prince?
Yeah, I'm excited to be wearing shirts now that I wasn't previously able to wear. So
congratulations.
So, yes, I haven't been able to wear this shirt in a long time, from the Funk Jazz Cafe in Atlanta.
I try not to wear shirts, but
yeah. So anyways, this is actually really, really cool. And so if you want to go to the store, it's store.prince.com, and just click on Welcome to America, and you'll be able to see all the actually cool stuff there. Also, and this is probably the opportunity that I'll take to actually go ahead and talk about something that's going to turn it over to your mic for a second, so that I can switch on the phone lines. And that is that it is today is the 21st anniversary of The Vault, Old Friends for Sale, released by Warner Brothers. Many people know that this was an album that Warner Brothers put together of a bunch of tracks that Prince had given them like years prior to this. This was released in 1999. So that technically makes it 22 years, actually. It was released in 1999, and of course, Prince wasn't happy with the fact that they sat on it, and now they're releasing it. But it did officially end his contract with Warner Brothers, because it was the final album that he could put out, that he had to put out with them. But then a few months later, he went ahead and turned around and released "Raven to the Joy Fantastic" in order to compete with this album. But I personally, even though Prince had a lot of disdain for Warner Brothers for releasing this, I love it. I mean, this has got some of my favorite songs. I love She Spoke to Me, and Five Women, and When the Lights Go Down. I mean, there's some friggin' amazing songs on this album. Some really, really good tracks. Now, obviously, Prince did give it to them, but they sat on it for so long. What are your favorite tracks off of this album?
No, for real, absolutely. It's a great album. Again, I'm in the same boat with you. Five Women, I love that song. It's just such a cool song. But one of my favorites, of course, Old Friends for Sale. I mean, it just sticks. It just sticks. It tugs, and I feel that. But the one I didn't expect was Extraordinary. it's another like it's a doomy type of song. You know, it's that old school doomy song, and it's really just such an awesome song, man. I love that one too. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm all over Five Women. I mean, I love that song is what I'm trying to say.
in your dreams.
Oh gosh, that song kills me every time I hear it. Yeah, Extraordinary. I feel that one too. And that whole album, I can put it on and just listen. I mean, I can put it on and there's not one point where I kind of feel like taken out of the experience. I felt like they did a pretty good job of like keeping it fairly cohesive. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So I love the album. You know,
He's got a couple of them out there that are just like off the charts. Like you guys, how do you keep up? There's one that I was listening to. Oh, I got to think about it. I think it was She Spoke to Me. No, it's about that walk.
it's about that walk. Yes. Yes.
I'm telling you, when I like songs that are bouncy and just different, but Old Friends for Sale will still stay at the top for me just because it doesn't follow that straight melody that just goes din and it really feels like he's talking to you. So every time he does a song like that, Five Women or any of them, when it feels like, hey, he's just talking about it, he's not really singing it,
Right.
I'm hooked. It just happens that way for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that version of it because it's mastered well. It has a better sound to it. But I have a bootleg that to me has the best version. No, I'm sorry. I have
Bootleg?
what
is this?
Unofficial.
that somebody, I don't know. Anyway, I have another version of that song that has a recording of that song that is it sounds like he's like feeling the pain right at that time.
Yeah, there's the version.
So personal. It tears me up every time I hear it. And the one that's on that album doesn't have that same emotional weight for me, but that song is still incredible.
I actually think that one is the one with the horns.
Yeah,
right. Because there's the horns and then there's without the horns, and I'm actually moved more by the one without the horns.
Yeah,
that's the one that pulls me in the most, and maybe it's just the space in the song.
Yeah,
that's it.
Space to cry.
Spoken like a musician. All right. So here's the thing. I went ahead and opened up the phone lines because I imagine that
we need a sound for that.
Yes. Well, I just got a text from Nick Garcia. He goes, "That horn has got to go."
Wait, I mean my dude.
And
fine,
maybe,
be that way.
Maybe because it's loud, so I turned it down. So because the horn's not going anywhere, Nick.
Wait, is it my fan or your fan? That's
No.
what I want to know.
This is kind of in the background, yeah. Probably because of the fact he listens. I think he listens at work, and probably it gets his attention. It gets his workers' attention all around him. So that's probably
got those headphones on there.
Yeah, you got it. So
he's like,
sorry, I'll work with it. Don't tune out because of that. It's all good. Anyways, yeah,
I don't think we can stop Jeff from doing it.
No, yeah, and we won't. It's because it's such an iconic sound. It's kind of
it is,
and it's so appropriate.
It is.
Hey, April threw out a question. She was asking about which 5 women. I don't know if she's asking Rob Rhythm, and she's asking you which 5 women, or is she just asking?
I don't know. I'm not
which
sure.
5 women?
He said like.
Well, we've got like 20 minutes to talk about here before Tamar comes in. About 15 minutes to talk about this topic.
So there's no time for 5 women.
Well, yeah, definitely not time for 5. Well,
we don't even have time for 1.
Depends on how things go. I can never mind. That's like
no comment.
No comment.
Yeah, moving right along.
Moving right along. I think my mother's in this mix somewhere. I think I just saw my mother come into this mix. Rob, my mother is in here. I saw her.
No way.
Yeah, I saw her earlier.
Is that your mother?
Hey,
you kiss your mother with that mouth.
I just saw her. All right, so listen, this topic.
Not anymore.
I'm going to get a little bit. Okay. This is kind of like a commentary. Who was that guy from 60 Minutes? Andy
Rooney.
Andy Rooney. Yeah, I'm going to
Have
make
you ever
this.
noticed
I'm gonna
that
make this-
sometimes
yeah,
you want to
never
say
noticed.
something,
It's
some
kind of-
annoying white guy interrupts you?
You'll Hugh Downs.
Because I want to talk about a topic that has gotten a lot of people riled up, and so we only have a limited amount of time before Tamar comes on, and we're going to interview her about a brand new album. If you're just joining us, welcome to Funkatopia Live. You've been listening to 30 minutes of nothing but
Nothing.
ramble. It's like a Seinfeld episode on the audio. Anyways, so this particular topic is really spinning in the Prince world right now, and that is and this is going to be a topic that can probably go south, but it's a hot topic, and we're going to talk about it now. And again, I've also opened up the phone lines for you to chime in here, and if you want to call in and talk about it, you absolutely positively can. The number is 2623 we funk. That's 2623 we funk, or if you're alphabetically challenged, it's 262-393-3865. And I actually think that I thought we had I do, but I got to add Jeff in that mix because it just says Rob and me, but it's okay. You can talk to all of us. There it is right there.
He changed his name. You can't put him in until he figures out his name.
You know, I can't
Get rid of the rage.
I can fix it. Hold on a second.
Just so you know, the name The Rage is so not me. That's what makes it funny.
Well, no,
Rage?
all right, let's.
Come on, guys! Funkatopia live!
All right, it's fixed. All right. Anyways, so
You're just driving down the highway with a gun.
So here's the thing. Let's go ahead and share this here real quick so you guys can see it. There is a guy named Torre who released a book a few years back called I Would Die For You, Why Prince Became an Icon. And he has now written another Prince book. But let me just say that I just right out of the gate, I was not a fan of his first book. No offense to him as an author. I guess my expectations were somewhere else. And I don't have any issue with Torre, but the book was more about him than it was about Prince. Like literally, like 60% of the book was about Torre and talking about his life, and that's not this. It's just not. That's not what you're advertising on this book.
Prince became an icon. He knew me.
Yeah. Anyways, it sounds like I'm dogging it, but I'm not. It's just not what you'd expect. I reviewed it somewhere online. I can't remember where, but I was just not a fan at all. So can he fix that? Can he fix my opinion with this new book? Well, based on some press on Torre's new book that is coming out, probably not. And he is not out to make friends.
Right.
The new book is called Nothing Compares to You, an oral history of Prince. Once again by Torre and forward by Susanna Melvoin. And it seems like it's going to be a tad getting into the dirt, more like what's that line in Prince's song? Never sold your name at the grocery store or something like that. I can't remember. I can hear the song in my head, but
Yeah, that's horrible. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I was just thinking of it in my head. Anyways, this is very tabloid-esque, and that's the reason why I'm saying it. He puts all of Prince's dirty laundry out there, including his in this book. And I haven't read this book, but there are clips or pieces of the book that are in the press right now that are talking about his drug issues. He basically called him a borderline schizophrenic, or kind of more politely, his multiple personalities. But yes, we do know he has multiple personalities. Her name is Camille. And anyways, he gets very detailed in a lot of the shady stuff. And the reason why I went ahead and opened the phone lines early was because I want everybody to be able to chime in on this. Again, if you want to say your piece, just go ahead and call. The number's writing on the bottom. But to start, Torre is interviewing some people close to Prince, such as Morris Day and Wendy Melvoin and other folks who have already divulged some unflattering things about Prince to the press since his passing. If you read Dwayne Tudall's new book, that covers the second book that he has, Wendy isn't, there was a lot of things that, Wendy was very curt and a lot of different things. Anyways, that all being said, essentially this book sounds like it's going to be very much like a tabloid. And that is a judgment that I'm making by the press coverage that of it has so far. And also the book description on Amazon itself. Here is the book description of it. It says, "Nothing Compares to You is an oral history built from years of interviews with dozens of people who were in Prince's inner circle, from childhood friends to band members to girlfriends to managers to engineers to photographers and more, all providing unique insights into the man and the musician. The Revelatory Book is a deeply personal and candid discussion about who Prince really was, emotionally, professionally, and romantically, and it tackles subjects never before discussed, including Prince's multiple personalities, his romantic relationships, his traumatic childhood, and how it propelled him into his music career, and how he found inspiration for some of his most important songs, including Purple Rain, Starfish, and the unheard Wally." Well, this much had been written before the release of Sign of the Time Deluxe because Wally is out, but "Nothing Compares to You paints the most complete picture yet written, the most important and most mysterious artist of his time. Sorry, Dwayne Tudall, but Torre's 200-page book is going to take you to court." Sorry.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, Torre will be speaking, and I need to probably just make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. But Torre will be speaking with Dwayne Tudall to promote the book on September 9th for the Mark Twain House at marktwainhouse.org. And that should be an interesting conversation because Dwayne Tudall has to be very protective about what is said about Prince, and especially if it's disparaging at all. He works for the estate now, and that flies directly in the face of what this book is aiming for. Because Dwayne, who is an award-winning author who wrote 2 massive books on Prince and one that covers the Purple Rain area, and it discusses all of the Purple Rain tour and avoids the topic of discussion in this book completely. Like he was intentionally avoiding anything that may be rumor or there's no proof or there's no factual. It's like for Dwayne's book, if there's nothing factual behind it, it's not going to print. That's just basically what it is. Dwayne will not touch any negativity about Prince with a 20-foot pole. And unfortunately, that is the core of Torre's new book. There was an article that based his gateway into painkillers from the bathtub scene in Purple Rain, not where Rob spit his gum into his bathtub. That's a totally different story, Jeff. I don't know if you're familiar with this story, but to kind of go off on a rabbit hole, Rob was at the Purple Rain concert and he had seats behind the stage, and he looked down and saw the tub. Seat. Seat behind the stage. And he threw his gum into Prince's bathtub. And when the scene came for Prince to get in the bathtub, Prince reached down and picked up the gum and threw it. And Rob was like, "That was my gum. Prince touched my gum."
Did you go get it back? That's what I'm saying.
I tried.
Yes, it's in
kicked me out.
It's in a shadow box on his wall, and Rodney's going to be getting that too when he dies.
You guys.
But anyways, so in the Purple Rain tour, that bathtub fell off of the stage, and he fell 10 feet down to the next stage level. And according to his manager at the time, Alan Leeds, after that happened, he had started taking painkillers just to get through the rest of the tour, and he allegedly never stopped. And he apparently liked the effect. Allegedly. So just in some of the press coverage in this book, to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm reading that the book recants Neil Carlin's claim. Neil Carlin had the book of this thing called Life, I think is the name of that book. Just came out last year, I think, or early this year maybe, where Prince came over to his house and grabbed a half a bottle of painkillers that Neil had for some surgery that he had or something, and just wolfed down a handful of painkillers out of his painkillers, allegedly. when he was over his house. Just grabbed him off the table and just chopped a handful. And Morris Day is also quoted in this book talking to him about him and Prince doing acid together. And then there's a claim from a girlfriend that Prince was regularly doing ecstasy and hallucinogenics, allegedly. And Wendy Melvoin quoted as saying that he was controlled by his drug addiction. And these are all things that are said to be in this book. It's all hearsay. It's all alleged. That's the problem with things that there's no way that you can prove, is when you start putting stuff like this in print, it's problematic. So
right.
Let me just go ahead and say, anyway, look, I'm done being nice about this because we keep talking about people that cash in on the relationship that they had with Prince. And this is Torre's second book on Prince. And as I said, the first, which was more about Torre than it was Prince. And now this second one looks like it's focusing on the dirt, the unproven, alleged stuff, rumors. And if it reads like it's being marketed, Torre is going to make some enemies in the Prince fan base. And I don't understand how Dwayne Tudall is doing an interview with him to talk about this book or help him promote this book when Dwayne is like real. I mean,
it should be interesting.
Yeah. And if Prince ardently hid those things from the public, and you are a close friend of his, and you knew that he was concerned about revealing things like this in his personal life, true or not, what kind of friend are you to put his business out there like this for monetary gain, for that matter? And I'm going to close with this. And I have not read the book yet. The foreword is written by Susanna Melvoin, definitely one of Prince's muses. There's no, but you can read the foreword to the book directly on the Amazon page for the book, and I can actually copy this link and so that you guys can read it. But you can go to the Amazon page and you can check to see. You can read the foreword.
Yeah,
you absolutely can read the foreword to what Susanna said there, and that foreword says nothing about any of this stuff this book is about. So it is very loving, and it's beautiful intro, the exact thing that you would expect Susanna to say, because I don't think I can ever recall Susanna ever saying anything disparaging. I mean, they had problems in their relationship and she was a little bit frustrated, but never anything that would support the content of what's apparently in this book. And then it goes into, after that forward is over, which is really loving and beautiful forward, then it goes into the introduction that's written by Torre, which is like the exact opposite. It goes right into talking about his addictions. And you can read that part for free on that Amazon listing. And I would love to have Susanna or Torre on the show to explain this, because I'm going to be honest, I am not comfortable reading this book. I don't need him to defend himself. I just would kind of, be nice to have an explanation, because maybe there's a disconnect here. And this assumption is mainly based on my experience with this first book. And right now it's #1 on Amazon because it's available. And it's specifically under new releases in Black and African American biographies and memoirs, but it's still at the top of the Amazon charts, which means he is already making some good bank on this book already. And I just want to know if my frustration is justified, or if I buy it and it is justified, then I'm going to be upset. So
and for the general public, there's two sides to keep in mind. One of the things you said, Chris, about if you're someone's friend and there's a problem, keep in mind that anybody who is a celebrity or an artist, or even not a celebrity and artist, your friends in general, nobody wants to share those kind of things that go on in their lives. Nobody, not a single person. So if you're sharing it, there is some sort of gain somewhere, whether it's justified or not. But I'll just say that there's no point in getting overly bent out of shape over it either, because there's media, press, things, negative, positive about everyone. And if you're not interested and don't want to hear the negative, don't read it. Simple as that. Don't worry about facing an opinion or forming an opinion about it. Just don't read it. If you read it, you need to accept that you chose to read it and you get bent out of shape. That's Yeah, it's one of those things.
You can't prove it though. That when you start saying things
Right.
that can't be proven, it's like
Now, but if you're curious and you go, oh, what is going on? I want to know. Well, I mean, there's another source to listen. Truth or lie, like you said, Chris, we don't know. But otherwise, don't give into that hype. Just don't bother. Move on. Go on to something else and enjoy that. That's all to it. Simple.
Lisa basically put it. I mean, she said people like gossip, so it probably will sell. I won't be buying it.
Right.
So,
there you go. That's exactly my point. Don't buy it. And then you don't have to worry about it. Nobody who writes anything negative like that is an enemy of mine, because you're not writing about me. So, I don't really care what you have to say otherwise, even though sometimes I personally think something's not right. Hey, why are you doing that? But that's your business, your life, your choices, you make them, but you have to live with those choices and sleep with them. So it's not for me to judge you. Everybody's going to get judged. I don't have to. So, whatever. Yeah. I don't plan on reading the book because I don't really get into all that stuff anyways.
Yeah, I'm reading a lot of the comments here from people that are in the I don't know. These people are not. Nobody, the Prince fans that are here are happy with this because,
right?
Again, the fact that you've written an entire book, which seems to be solely focused on the dirt, that is conjecture, rumor, no way to prove it. I really am interested in seeing this interview with him and Dwayne Tudall. It's going to be interesting to see how he kind of navigates around this, because it doesn't make any sense. How do you navigate around that? That's impossible. How do you navigate around, especially when you are the author of two massive, massive books that do nothing but facts, just facts and direct quotes that are not disparaging. No rumors, no hearsay. It's just factual. And you were able, 600-page books, and he just wants to release a 200-page book that is just full of this stuff. And he's more than welcome to call in. He's more than welcome to come on the show and talk about the book.
Why not? You
but
should.
You got some explaining to do.
Absolutely should.
You got some.
One of the things is we also get caught up in media and other hype about something. So, like I said, if you haven't read it, we can't really know what it's about. So coming on a show like this is the perfect opportunity to get those who have decided, well, I don't want to read it because I don't want to know. It's a perfect opportunity to explain, hey, this is really what I'm talking about. This is really what's going on, regardless of the media's overhype or underhype. I mean, it may be blatantly what we're hearing, or it may not. So you go on a show like this and you say, hey, this is really what it is. And then people can form more opinion once they hear, hey, this is what's going on. Maybe I will get the book, or I'm still not interested. But there's no other way around it at that point.
I think it's interesting because we're talking about, and I was looking at some of the comments out there too. We're talking about Prince, and I think we're really talking about a couple of different aspects of Prince. Right. People were talking about the music, and then this book is really talking about a perceived persona or celebrity, and that's to me that sounds like, and I haven't read the Touré book. I've read parts of the Dwayne Tudall book. I'm still working on it. It's long. But his book really is more about the music and what Prince was doing as an artist. And it makes me think, this conversation makes me think of, how stricken I was when Prince passed. And, I had somebody say to me, well, why do you even like him? I mean, he was a drug addict, which I thought was the stupidest thing to ever say about a musician, because some of the best musicians did drugs. But by the same token, I was like, at that point, it was right after it happened, and we didn't know as much as we know now. And, for the most part, most of us who've been Prince fans forever knew he wasn't really that much into drugs, although other stories have come out since. But it never who cares? I was interested in, what he produced as a musician, as an artist. I mean, how many other musicians, create their own clothes and movies and put out an album every year, and it's always new and different and unique. There's just, you can write whatever BS you want. Everybody's a human being. They have their issues or whatever, but I don't care about that, but there's always going to be that cult of celebrity that wants to know all the dirt.
Right. Plus
reality show people.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, what great piece of music that is under the category of the greatest music of all time. The majority of what's considered the greatest pieces of all time, somebody was under the influence.
Absolutely.
There was things going on behind the scenes, and there's people's personal lives. And so, I mean, come on,
right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we don't deny that Prince obviously had drugs in his system and he was dealing with a lot of pain and everything, but you're now crossing the line to addiction, and you're just, I don't know.
It's funny though, because that same person, would probably have said to me, about how terrible the opioid crisis was. And I'm thinking to myself, well, then why don't you look at Prince in the same manner? Because, if he did become addicted, he became addicted because he was on painkillers. And, that's what it is. It's trying to deal with pain. And as somebody who has, daily pain, I have carpal tunnel syndrome. And so I'm in pain all the time. And so to me, I'm thinking to myself, to me, I have compassion and sympathy and empathy for those people, because, they went down a hole that I can understand, because you're just trying to stop the pain, and he kept performing,
highest output of all the artists, like the highest output. I mean, come on.
Yeah. There's no comparison at all. It's just no comparison. I just got an email from Tamar. She'll be here in like 10 minutes. So just hang tight. She's coming, but I still think we're hot on this topic here. But I tried to, the whole time that I was sitting here getting agitated, and I hope this doesn't open up a whole nother can of worms, but it probably is going to. The whole time I was agitated. Yeah, I know. How agitated I was about, all these mistruths being said about Prince. I began to think about how Michael Jackson fans feel.
I was thinking that. I was going to say that.
All right.
I mean,
I don't feel like it's the same thing, but okay.
Elvis.
But you've got I don't know, 3 or 4 people who have created this documentary who they have proof that these people were known scam artists or their parents were scam artists, and just, it could well possibly be that this is a very, very well orchestrated farce, and just Michael Jackson was just this insanely nice guy who just loved kids, and not in that way.
Right.
I think as a consensus, because of the fact that the way that people absorb information, especially ones that aren't hardcore Michael Jackson fans or just passive and they know the stuff from the radio, have already written him off as a molester. And I think that's just, Michael Jackson was a molester and Prince was a drug addict. So this is, there's something to be said for, things that get said when there's just no solid proof of anything. And that's just, we know that taking drugs.
I think that's interesting. I think there is maybe even a little bit more going on there, because the other artists that we talk about who did drugs, who died from drugs, people like Kurt Cobain. I guess he didn't die from drugs, but it was drug related. Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, all those people. I don't know that you hear the same kind of vitriol that you do about Michael Jackson and Prince. Right. And
sure,
and it makes me wonder what that's about. Is it because they were talented? Is it because they were, Is it because they were black? I mean, I don't know. It makes me wonder. I mean, that's what I come back to. I'm like, that same guy that I was talking about before, I'm sure, I'm sure he was, he would never have said something like what he was saying to me about somebody like Janis Joplin or Jim Morrison or
Right.
Kurt
Well,
Cobain.
Unfortunately, that is something to strongly consider. Does race have anything to do with how easy it is to say certain things about somebody? Of course. And
Yeah.
then the other thing to consider is anyone who's known someone to go through pain, the medications, I'm not even going to say drugs like that, but the medications that you're given are highly addictive. So all it takes is just a little bit, and all of a sudden you're hooked. And you don't have to be a star to be hooked. I know people who've become addicted because of pain, because of things that's happened to them. And we as fans can say, it was pain, no, it didn't happen, and all these things. But at the end of the day, we don't really know. We're never really going to know how these things came out. And we really should just move into the beauty that was given to us, regardless of whether the artist was on something or going through something or whatever their scenario was. They brought us a lot of beautiful things, and that's it. And one thing is, a physical abuser of other people is a problem child. You choose to abuse your own body through addiction or not, that's something that you're doing to yourself.
I agree.
I have less of anger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Towards that, even though I feel sad and hurtful towards it, but I have less of a man, you know what I mean? So let's just accept the beauty that's been given to us and the talent and the lessons taught, because so many artists are so great because of artists like Prince and Michael Jackson and those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've become our new standard and people we look up to, and they admit that it's because of those guys. So without them, and as it rolls, so let's just move forward.
Yeah.
And everybody agree. I mean, everybody agrees with you. And Rodney said something too. He said, "We are all human of flesh to focus on the gifts that He left us."
Yes.
It's just
right.
And it's just, I guess what's disparaging to me is that again, Torre, I've never met him, but he is not a good writer. He's just not.
You're making a good case to get him on the show, man.
Torre,
you really want him to come on the show?
Come at me, bro. But listen,
Come at me, bro.
The first book was really hard read. It was very, very difficult read. And again, it was mostly about him and not about Prince. And then the second book, the second book seems to be all focused on the dirt, the unproven. I mean, this is your friend. Torre claims to be really, really good friends with Prince. If Rob were to pass away before me, I would then write a book about every single, Rob would have a way bigger book to write about me if I died.
Oh yeah, I've already started. I'm waiting for you to die.
I mean, you're talking about this guy right here. You're talking about somebody that I've known since I was 15 years old, and so he has seen every friggin' horrible, ridiculous, and bad decision I've ever made in my life. I mean, he was like a front row seat. I mean, and sometimes he even paid for it. But but in most cases, it was like, I mean, in most cases, as I said, I don't expect that he would ever write a book about me. I mean, it would be a bestseller for sure. But
I'm changing my mind. No, okay.
I would think that, again, there's just so much. I just, it's just amazing to me. I'm going to write my own book to kind of call myself out. I would rather do that.
Yeah.
And put my own stuff out there and let you know what I'm okay with sharing and what I'm not okay with sharing, which Prince was in the process of doing before he passed. The Beautiful Ones was going to be his autobiography. And if he had had the opportunity to be able to finish that book, I think we would have seen some of the things that he was willing to unveil to us. But I certainly don't think that after his passing that he would have or even known if I die, that Torah was going to end up releasing a book that was going to just be nothing but just dirt on him. I just don't think that's just crazy to me.
I hate that it turns into what feels like it would be a bash fest if Torre did come, because I think
it wouldn't be.
I think he should come. I know it wouldn't. I know. I mean, clearly it wouldn't from us. But you got a bunch of people who are just lost in this. But at the end of the day, you want to know. Seriously, dude, are you mad at him? If you weren't being spiteful, then maybe it's real. Maybe there's some things in there, and maybe there's something to it. But devil's advocate side, there's a whole lot of beautiful stories that we hear about Prince and about artists that they're not real either. Nobody questions that either. We only question it because it's like, ooh, let's just say whatever you want to talk about, come on the show, talk about your book, just explain where you're coming from, and we accept what you say is what you say, because that's it, and people decide for themselves if they want to read it or not. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and Torre, I want you to come on the show because I if anything, I really want you to kind of explain your thought process as to. But it's gonna be a rough interview. I'm telling you right now. But I'm sure Torre can hold his own. He can hold his own. All right, take it. He can absolutely hold his own. I have seen him on shows, and I have seen people just bash, just attack him. But he can hold himself perfectly fine. I will absolutely give him a platform to be able to promote his book, but there's got to be some answers because it's just not. There's just got to be some answers for his decision to write this book. Right. That's just how it is. Jaden is joining behind me now. She's decided to come in and make herself known and stand over. Anyways, welcome to Funkatopia Live, and very shortly we are going to have Tamar, and she should be here any minute, and we're going to be interviewing Tamar to talk about her brand new album, My Name is Ashley.
Yes.
Talking about that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. What was that? Yes, Ashley Tamar Davis, yes. So we are going to have her on the show. Thank you, John, for the extra commentary that makes the show all the more awkward. Appreciate it.
It's Cammy's favorite Horton.
Yes, it's Cammy's favorite Horton. Yes.
I like Meiling Stone Pool. Here it is. Complicated Genius. I like that. That's
absolutely
boom. There it is.
That's Cammy even put it up there. My favorite Horton.
Somebody's asking how they get to ask a question for Tamar. You can call in with the number that you see there on the screen.
Yes, absolutely.
If you put it in the notes, we might see it and ask it.
And that's a good point, Rodney. We need to get Alan Leeds on the show to kind of talk about where some of his stories go, because here's something interesting too. I've heard Alan tell the story about the bathtub incident where the bathtub fell off the stage and then he fell. But surprisingly enough, when he told the story before, there was no painkillers involved then he had to take painkillers and then he became addicted and it was just a mess and it was all downhill from there. And then apparently in Torre's book, when Alan Leeds tell the story, there is a whole entire new angle to this that includes painkillers and an addiction and it's just, and then also, if Alan's going to talk about it, well, then I'll talk about it. Well, Wendy has, we all know Wendy Melvoin, even if you read Dwayne's book, which is like full of factual information, there's comments and discussions in there from Wendy where she was ticked at Prince for a variety of different things. Right. Brownmark's even been on the show and he was ticked about a variety of different things. So these are people who are not scared. They're not really concerned about, they kind of want to share their own personal stories. When you start talking about drugs and you start talking about addiction, you start talking about things that are a little bit more sideways and a little bit more taboo. It's a whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame. But yeah, if you wanted to call in to the show, you absolutely positively can. The number is 2623-WE-FUNK. But we're going to go ahead and stop this conversation here. I think we're done on this conversation because it's just great. But let me go ahead and share a screen here. This woman right here, This one. One of my favorite artists on the planet. She is awesome. She's got a fantastic voice. She is so talented, and I just can't. I love having her on the show. She's always so much fun. And so with everybody, please give a warm welcome to the one, the only, Tamar's in the house. Actually, you know what? I'm going to remove this one.
Hi.
Woo!
Yeah. Oh, nice.
We're
Yeah, we
my
gotta make-
Prince hoodie.
Yeah, we gotta make you big. We can't make you big. Why can I make you big? Hold on a second. Yeah, we can. I know we can. There we go. Now we can do it. There you go.
My hair is like
There it
in
is.
my face. Hi. It's been a
Hello,
long day.
Hello, hello.
Yes.
Excuse
Yeah,
how I
we're
look. I mean, literally, it's been a long day. It's like one of those days today. Meetings back to back. I said, everything. I talked to my agent. I was like, listen, make all the meetings on one day so I can just look presentable on one day. Because, COVID has allowed me to look a hot mess. And I think that's like, I forgot how to wear heels. I had to do something yesterday and I was like, ugh, what is this? So,
I don't know how anybody wears heels. I don't know how you go up a stairs. I've watched women go upstairs in heels, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Every woman is above me because of that.
Yeah, when Rob wears heels, he struggles everywhere he walks.
Every time I put on heels, I struggle.
and I literally, I was late because I have to get ready to go to San Diego. And I've not eaten. I needed to get my nails done and I needed to eat. I haven't eaten yet. So I had to make a smoothie. And this is the worst that I've ever made it. I'm looking at it like, this looks fun. I know. Where's the sound effects when you need them?
Yeah, that's right. I have sound.
That's what we got Jeff for.
Yes.
You're
Somebody-
doing good. You're right on time. All
He
we're
is.
missing is the boom, boom. That's all we're missing.
I even got that's for
Wow.
you.
And I gotta have. You know what I got to do is I have to move all of these around so that I can hit the ones so that they're readily available. Because there's some here that I'm never going to use, like punch. I'm never going to use punch. I'm never going to use that.
Ow.
Bugle. I
Good
mean,
if someone was talking about something and it was just like, man, and so they got into a fight and then you'd be like, punch. Well,
Right?
you use it.
Either that or you use a Bruce Lee sound.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Oh,
Oh.
there you go.
Hey, I'll do it. I'll do some sound bites for you, okay?
Nice.
there you go. We can actually here. What kind of smoothie is that? That's what I want to ask you first. Because have you ever had this stuff right here? This stuff is called Organifi. Have you ever had this before? It's called green.
No, that looks like something I would get into.
Yeah, but yours is homemade. No, that's not the same. You did that yourself. That's a whole
I
different
still
thing.
have it in the blender, okay?
Yes.
That's just efficiency.
It was still in a
So-
pack. You poured it in the blender and fake it.
Right. So let me tell you how I came across my whole my concoction. So I was during COVID, of course a lot of us started working out like really strong because that's all you can really do is really go outside. And so I went to Smoothie King and I felt like over time it just kept tasting different. So one day I was like, let me walk inside and get the smoothie. And she was pumping the coconut water out of like those like snow cone kind of thing, and it looked old. And it's just something about her pumping it out of there that just made me go. And I never, there's the sound. And I was like, I'm never going back. So I said, I've got to figure out how to make a smoothie at home that will taste good. Because every time I've made them in the past, they always tasted too bitter or too this. So I finally found out I just like my liquid base to be water. So now I just do, and I always, and now I see why all the cooking shows are measuring things. I'm like, why did they measure? Just put the daggone salt in there and see if it's too salty, right? Like, that's me. And so I don't measure anything. I just be like, oh, this looks right. Let me taste it. Okay, it needs more of this, whatever. So long story short, I was like, okay, so I started doing 8 ounces of water, half a banana, because I'd read somewhere that if you do eat bananas still, because it's so much sugar in it, just to eat half of it. So I froze half. I get bananas and I cut them up and I store them. And so I did half a banana. I found from Trader Joe's frozen ginger cubes, like real ginger, but it's frozen. And not too many people know about it.
There you go.
So I put 1 cube of ginger. I use agave, cinnamon, all the berries basically, and that's it. And for some reason, it's like I was drinking it for the first time, like, where have I been? And so to this day, I don't buy any smoothies out. I live and breathe by this. And sometimes I'll throw in a pineapple or a mango, but this one is strictly berries.
Yeah. So, and this one that I was showing to you was green juice, which is just basically got all the stuff that it's got probiotics in it and got ashwagandha and all kinds of superfoods. And it's all in this little packet. And you basically add it to water and choke it down.
Yeah, you gotta send me that one. Hey everyone, I feel bad.
Yes,
hey guys.
Yes,
hey,
it's Tamar in
hey
the house.
Hey Mei-Ling. Hey Susie.
You fine folks. And I was just I see that there is a call that is in here, and I don't know if this person is hopefully it's a call to talk to you, Tamar, but we'll go ahead and get them on the line and see if they're there.
I can't get my hair right either. I'm in like.
Listen, I cannot get I cut it all off, and today for some reason I'm just looking like, what is happening?
Hello.
Oh.
Hey, caller, how's it going?
It's good. Can you hear me though? I'm not sure if you're talking to me.
Yeah, we can hear you. What you got?
Okay. This is RD Hall. I got a question for Tamar.
Oh, great. Okay, let's just go right into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You're in.
Tamar, I know this is going to seem kind of like rare and kind of like so far away, but back in like the 2000s, you did a concert at the Viper Room in Los Angeles with Prince. And you guys did a tune called Stay With Me that was from, covered by Bette Midler in The Rose. Can you tell me why you guys did that song at that time?
It's funny. It's a full circle. That's really Janis Joplin. And Prince loved Janis Joplin. He loved Janis Joplin. And he used to always this is a story no one knows. He used to always throw songs at me, and he would think that because I was young that I wouldn't know them. So one day he said, there's this tune I want to do, Stay With Me. And I was like, stay with me, baby. And he looked at me like, how do you know that song? I was like, it's Janis Joplin. She's from Texas. How could I not know my history? And he was floored. And that became, outside of Never Loved a Man, that was like his favorite song. No, I take that back. Love Changes was one of his favorite too. All the songs that were in that tour was his favorite. But I think Stay With Me, Baby was his favorite song. And not too many people ever re-sing it, you know what I mean? And sing it live. So that's how it came about. He challenged me again, as he always did, and I knew the song. And it's funny because A Night with Janis Joplin, the show I did on Broadway, when that song played, it was very emotional for me because I was like, wow, Prince, he's one of those rare musicians who knows a plethora of music, and that was one of the songs. So yeah, great question.
Yeah, and I had to mute you, caller, because I guess you had a speaker coming on, so it was like feeding back. But if you're still there, any of the questions that you have? Are you good? Okay. I hope you got your answer that you needed. If anybody else wants to call in, absolutely positively call in. The number is scrolling on the bottom. It's 2623-WE-FUNK. That's 2623-WE-FUNK. And you can also dial 262-393-3865 to call in to ask questions of Tamar or to talk to Tamar. So listen.
Can I jump in real quick? Because I wanted to ask, since we're already on the subject, that show that you did, the Broadway show about Janis Joplin, you played Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone. Who else did you play? Is that it?
I sang. Sang Summertime. So I was considered a blues singer, but I sang Summertime, the operatic version from Porgy and Bess.
Oh wow. And that came out like you did that how many years ago?
So we originally set the show for the 100th celebration of Love in San Francisco. Of course, I didn't know what that was. I was like, what is Celebration of Love? Then I saw all these people coming as if they were at Woodstock, and I was like, what is happening? It was a sold out house every single night. They had to extend the show. So finally I did some research on Celebration of Love, and I was like, oh my God, these people like literally lived and breathed Janis Joplin. So first the show picked up on 2017. Then we went out on tour at the end of 2017. Then the show got picked up by Broadway HD. So it basically streams 24/7 on the Broadway version of live streaming. So it's the Netflix of Broadway. So if you do not know about BroadwayHD.com, in like the Broadway shows that you probably wish you could have seen, they filmed them HD, which was so crazy just to see those cameras everywhere. And then it got picked up in movie theaters. So it was in movie theaters for about a month in 2019. Wow. And then it just made its Japan debut July 2nd. So it was in cinemas everywhere in Japan.
That's so cool.
That's
awesome. That is so cool.
Of course, I found the sound effects you were looking for earlier, but now it's not appropriate. Celia said, "How did you meet me?" But then she followed it up with, "How did you meet Prince?" But I'll take the story of how I met Tamar. I met Tamar in Atlanta at a Prince show, and then we've met multiple times. We met at your Atlanta show at the City Winery in Atlanta. And we hung out in Atlanta for a while. And then we hung out again in Minneapolis when I did the introduction for NPG in Minneapolis when you were sitting with NPG. So you and I got to hang out quite a bit. It's always fun to watch you do your thing because you're such an amazing vocalist, and I just can't. It's just like I'm going to tell you right now. I love this new album. My Name Is Ashley.
Oh, yeah.
And let me just say before we get into talking about My Name Is Ashley, I also want to talk about I Am the Storm, which is just, I mean, that friggin' album. I just don't understand why that just wasn't all over the radio, especially songs like Fleek. And we took a lot of those songs that were off of that and put it on regular rotation. And people always ask me, who does that song? It's like, Tamar. And it's just, how do you feel about the traction that your music gets? Do you feel like you're kind of really, fighting against some kind of unforeseen power that seems to be like holding you back? Because in my opinion, and I think everybody here that is listening to you, I mean, you should be enormous right now, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Beast mode.
Yeah, it's funny. You work with the greatest of all time, and you sit in on every kind of hangout, meeting, whatever you name it, and everything that he said that would happen is happening. So I'm not shocked anymore. I'm really enjoying creating music now more than ever, not for anything but outside of giving good content, because I feel like somewhere there'll be a miraculous story about one of the songs doing something and making its light at some point. I mean, it's like an Aloe Black thing. His story is on my website with the town hall meeting, how he wrote one song. He got laid off corporate wise. He was laid off for X amount of time. His song landed on a compilation, ended up hitting somewhere in the UK, got on a McDonald's commercial. And that song is like the song that ended up over here. And, it's like one of the number one synced songs of our generation. So the point I'm trying to make with that is that I do feel deep down inside now, with what I know in the business and moving behind the camera and behind the scenes into the executive stuff, what really goes on. And the sad thing is, I don't think a lot of people understand the machine is the label, and sometimes that's an advantage and sometimes it's not. And as an independent artist, I don't think people really understand what really helps our music. And it's when people like the music. It's when they share the music. It's when they add it to a playlist. It's when you guys become the drivers. And so this project, I actually had a sponsor to help me underwrite a lot of the costs. And a lot of people understand just to make a sonically well-produced record costs you minimally $30,000. That's just to make the record and get the musicians you want, the recording, the mastering, the artwork, the photographer. And thank God I've worked with some of the best people. So they've all came in and said, listen, instead of me doing it for this amount, I'll do it for this amount. So I was able to budget way more this time. But to answer your question, like sometimes I used to feel like, dang, is there some forces against me to get this music out? Right. But I really feel like at some point it's gonna find its light of the day. And when you learn from a timeless writer, you can't help but write timeless music. And to me, that's what I know I have. So I am putting more into the project. I'm, going out with Stuart Copeland and able to do pop-up meet and greets. And I have more announcements for my own shows where I'll have my entire band on stage, brass and everything. So eventually you'll see those kind of shows pop up, and we still have, things in the can. There's videos I did already for some of the songs. So you're getting ready to see those. But it's a lot of work. I mean, after this project, I don't know when I'm going to do another full album, because it's after a while, you're just like, this is a lot of work. And I don't think people understand it really takes a team, but you still have to pay that team. A publicist is X amount of dollars a month. A social media person is X amount of dollars a month. I don't edit everything, but the things you see, I've been learning how to edit. I finally got a 5K camera and about to start learning how to do more visuals with better backdrops. And, outsourcing is the big thing for independent artists, and having a budget for that, like you got to live or you're going to put all of it into that. And I'm at a stage in my career where that is not what pays the bills. And, that's the reality of it. And I really want a lot of people to understand how it really works for independent artists.
Yeah. And I appreciate you kind of dealing with that, because I know you and I talked a lot when you were in Atlanta. We were talking about, because there was so much music that a lot of people didn't know. And you actually revealed a secret to me about Prince. You had told me that it's not a secret now because we talked about it on the air last time you were on, was that Prince had actually had his hand in writing a lot of the music on some of your stuff, and he actually signed over the rights to all that music to you. And so it's just shocking to me that there's like so much of the music that you've been releasing over the years, Prince actually had his hand on, and that traction still wasn't able to spin the wheels. But I think, some of the people didn't know that, but I think if it was maybe marketed that way, it may have been received differently. But I also kind of respect the hustle and the fact that you didn't use that as your marketing tool. You based it on your talent and your capabilities, which is just, that's,
Yeah, it's funny. That was part of my prayer. I was like, God, I know I'm more than just Prince or Tyler Perry. And it's cool because people make the association, and I totally get it from a marketing standpoint. But I knew at the end of the day, I can't be known as just like the girl that sang with Prince or the girl from The Voice. And so this album was that first time where I said, my visuals, I want people to really see me. I want people to see my creative aspect. Even Prince kind of prophesied in front of the original 3121 home. He was like, one day you're going to produce. And I was like, produce? What is that? He was like, you're going to produce, you're going to do productions, you're going to put on, creative content. And I said, nah. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And here it is. I'm really doing it, and it's freeing. But at the same time, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
We got another caller here. Let's see. Let's get this person on the line. Caller, you're on the line with Tamar. What you got?
My hair.
Hello. Did you drop off? It's okay. We got. There's somebody else that called in. Hey, caller, you're on the line with Tamar. Who's calling?
Hi, it's Maylene. Hi, Tamar.
Hey.
Hi, Maylene. How are you?
Tamar, you are enough, girl. You are bad. And Prince saw that in you. And don't let anybody dim your light. I love your music. I love your story. We were MySpace friends way back in the day. You must have been cool, girl.
Yes, MySpace.
MySpace.
I just had a meeting and we were talking about that.
I was going over MySpace not too long ago because somebody told me there was some stuff in there I needed to look at. And she was my friend. I'm like, what? Anyway. Tell them the
Crazy.
story about how you got connected to Prince, because our mutual friend told me about that.
I
Okay?
mean,
You do
the
your
short.
thing, girl. I'm going to get the album.
Thank you so
That's all I have
much.
to say. Bye.
Bye.
I can't hear her. I can't hear her at all.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't have her connected to the phone?
No, we can hear you. So just go ahead and drive off, and then you can listen.
Okay.
We'll take a listen. All right. Sorry about that.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Go ahead, Tamar. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a long story. The short end of it was I was flown to Paisley when I was 14. I remember I was at high school and my mom was like, "Hey, Prince wants you to come to Minneapolis." And how I got there was because my cousin played my demo for Morris Hayes, so he's always going to be a part of my life. And I was flown to Minneapolis. I didn't meet Prince at the time. I remember recording in the studio. I think it was in studio B or C, the one that was the furthest away from A and B, I think. And I remember seeing like the vault. I remember seeing the Purple Rain bike. And you guys, so let me give y'all a confession. I didn't see Purple Rain until 2016. Do not shoot me. Do not shoot me. Do not shoot me. Do not shoot me. Okay. So just mind you, I'm looking at all this stuff like, okay, there's a bike. I didn't know anything about this. And so, I mean, I'm like 12 years old. I don't know anything. And so, I just remember I got a gift bag and had the most beautiful, it was like this exclusive content album, whatever. And so I did a photo shoot with his team. And I remember going to dinner and papers were going across and my mom was looking at the papers. And that's what happened with that. I don't know what happened. And then in 2004, I started touring with Tamia. I was singing background for Tamia, and the famed choreographer Fatima Robinson was the choreographer. And from there, she and I stayed in contact, and she kept encouraging me. She saw something in me, I guess, and she just was like, just speaking life into me. And then 2005 came around. She invited me to a video shoot. It was all these dancers from Rio, who dances with Usher, to Gilbert, who dances with Christina Aguilera. It was like all these dancers. I'm like, what is happening? We were in the pool house. It was like 2 a.m. It's dark. We're all just sitting there like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And then we get invited into the main house, the original 3121. Of course, I didn't know I would eventually be back here. And from there, it was a video shoot, and he kind of walks behind the couch. It's like very smoky, and they're like, action. And this guy, I could feel something walk behind me, and I remember getting chills. And then literally we're in there for 15 minutes, and the director's like, all right, cut, that's a wrap. And we're all like, that's a wrap? We just came in here. And so the lights come on, the smoke is kind of leaving, and there's Prince. And I was like, oh my God, there's Prince. So then I look for Fatima before I leave, and she's in the kitchen, and she's like, yeah, the real reason why I brought you here is because I want you to sing for Prince. And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, this would be amazing. But it didn't happen. And as fate would have it, as you would say, 2 days later, they had invited all of us extras to come back to the house for an after party for the People's Choice Awards. And you guys, when I tell you I'm leaving out so many details that'll make you be like, what? Huh? It's all in the book. Let me just say that. So I went back, literally cutting out some details that are very integral to the story to make it be like, oh my God, this had to be divine. So I go back to the house, go to the after party, walk in the house. There's Cora on drums. I've known Cora from Houston, and her husband was on bass. Sheila E. No, and then I think Frank McComb was on keys. I went to the bathroom, came back. Sheila E. was on drums. And so I'm really at this moment like, what is happening right now? I'm looking at Sheila E. on drums. What is happening? And then to my right, at the time, the pool room, the game room was to the right. So Prince was in the pool room, and Takumi was in there. I think some pictures are floating around. I think I have it in my phone of them in that room. And so anyways, it's like wee hours in the morning. We're about to leave, and my friend is like, I don't want to leave without saying thank you for opening your home. I was like, well, I'm not saying anything. You should say something. And Prince was at the stairs, because when you walked in the house, there was stairs that would go to the right and to the left. So he was on the left side of the stairs on the left. So as we were walking out, my friend is like, hey, my name's Byron. And he's introducing himself, blah, 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 blah. And he looked so cordial and so welcoming. So I was like, well, maybe I'll say something. And I was like, hi, Prince. Thank you for opening your home. My name is Ashley. And it just came out. You wrote a song for me at 14 or 12 years old. And he looked at me and he looked like, huh? And I was like, yeah. And I just immediately just started talking. I was like, yeah, you wrote a rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And he looked like, oh. And then he was like, oh, He was like, wait, what's your name again? And I told him, and he said, where, how have you been? Where have you been? And at the time I was working with Lee Ritenour. So musician to musician, of course he, idolizes Lee Ritenour. So I'm telling him I'm working with Lee Ritenour, and he was like, wait, how old are you? And I'm telling him, and he was like, what else have you been up to? And I'm like, oh, college, blah, blah, blah. And so fate would have it, I'm in the studio that night till the sun comes up, and he's talking life into me. And he brings, we do a shedding session. It's just me. He plays a drum loop. My friend Byron played keys. And we literally had a shedding moment, just the three of us, for about 45 minutes. And I mean, I can go on and on and on, but that's how it started. I mean, it's so many details, you guys. It's yeah. I would be here all night. So
That's crazy. And you're welcome to be here all night.
Right?
I can't. I have a flight tomorrow, and I have to
I know.
over a book of sheet music.
A lot of people don't know this about you, but you were originally in Destiny's Child with Girls Time at the time. And so a lot of people don't know that. So if you want to briefly share that story and how that came to be, because a lot of people aren't aware of that, because I'm seeing people responding going, Destiny's Child. I'll just let you tell the story on that.
Yeah, it's so funny. That's not a part of my life that I ever wanted to ignore. It's just a part of my life that brings up, and it's in the book. And I was in the group at such a young age. We were typical girls. It originally was like 12, 13 of us, and then they brought us down to 6 of us. We were called Girls Time. That's a whole story of how it happened. We're all from Houston, so of course that's the common denominator. And honestly, my parents took me out because there was so much conflict of interest behind the scenes, and it wasn't until I went on The Voice that I did Star Search. I mean, that was my first time on flights, recording in studios. I mean, it was a big moment for me. It wasn't when I knew I wanted to do it professionally at all. It was just a lot of behind the scenes that just was really crazy, to the point where I didn't really know what had happened until maybe 2010, when my mom sat me down and talked to me. And that's a whole story of how powerful that moment was with my mom. Because at that time, I didn't know why was so much friction between us. And she kind of felt like she had made a wrong decision. And then I guess I was harboring bitterness for taking me out. And so the book is really about redemption and restoration and forgiveness, and how God just continues to illuminate my path. And it's not, this life is not what I prayed for, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I ended up getting out of the group, and it wasn't until this year that I found out what really happened. It's on my podcast featuring David Brewer, who was our vocal coach. So if you guys listen to that, I'm telling you, grab some tissue, because that was just talking about is emotional. Like, I didn't know what was going on. And a lot of parents, they make decisions to protect their children. And, it was a hard pill to swallow even this year, to hear what really happened. And a lot of it had to do with colorism. And at that age, you don't know what that stuff is. Songs were stripped from me at times. It was just a weird moment. But me and the girls are cool. Beyonce and I ran into each other at the Grammys. We performed in New York, and Jay-Z was there and Beyonce was there. Wow. I saw Beyonce on the Verizon First Ladies tour. I ran into Kelly at a Jidena listening party, and she's just, I don't want to say she's my favorite, but she's just a sweetheart. She really is. And then LaToya and I run into each other all the time, because I knew LaToya way before the group, like slumber parties, and my brother had a crush on her. Like, we're like childhood friends. And Latavia and I went to her baby shower, and I'm going to tell you guys a story no one knows, but we surprised her. And my mom walks in the door, and Latavia's mom just cries. She just bawls. Wow. I think the whole baby shower, she just bawls. And it's a lot in the book, and it's not a telltale all, it's just what happened, and it's kind of like Tina Turner is just like, after she wrote a book, she was like, she didn't want to hear about Ike. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't want to hear about it, because it's a powerful story for me to give as a testimony to others about the power of redemption. And so that's what it is. And it tells, my parents even have a chapter that I refuse to read, because it's looking back, I hated that my parents had to make those decisions, but they did.
Now, the book you're referring to is 100 Things to Know as an Independent Music Artist.
No, that's an educational book.
Which book are you referring to? I can't even.
I wrote a memoir that I'm still trying to figure out when I want to put it out.
Okay. I was like, Tamar, we talk a lot, and I'm just like,
Frantically
I don't know anything about this book. And I was like,
this book, where is it?
Where is this book?
I'm like cyber stalking you, feeling all like weird about it.
Right.
Can't find this book.
Yeah, and yeah, because the whole time I'm thinking I'm not a good friend. But I have to ask you, just what do you prefer to call yourself these days? Because we know that sometimes there is confusion between whenever I mention Tamar, they're like, "Oh, Tamar Braxton, I love it." It's like, no, stop, time out. But your first album was My Name is Tamar. Your newest album is My Name is Ashley. You have 2 Spotify accounts, one under Ashley Tamar, and then the one with your artist name as Tamar Davis, which, by the way, is the one that has the album name My Name is Ashley under it. So, and I see that you've chosen Tamar Davis on here. So I'm trying to sorry, Ashley Tamar. Which do you prefer? Because I want to be I want to be a good friend.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's not a problem. It's slowly migrating back to Ashley Tamar, and Tamar was because Prince wanted to use Tamar, and at the time he was just like it was a lot of Ashleys coming out at the time, and he was like, they can't sing, we don't want to associate you with non-singers. Like, he literally said that. And so he was like, what's your full name? And I was like, Ashley Tamar Davis. So he wanted to use Tamar. There's a whole nother story about that, and talking with Tamar's people. And actually Tamar Braxton brought me up like a couple of years ago on The Real, the whole story. So like they all line up ironically. And that's a whole nother story. And so as I was gearing to celebrate the 10 years from My Name is Tamar, I was like, well, I should call this one My Name is Ashley, because I'm composing on here, and I played piano on Love Speaks. Well, Lovely is the day. No, Love Speaks. Yeah. And so I just wanted it to be, I'm starting to rebrand it with Ashley Tamar. So my website is ashleytamar.com, and Spotify is slowly switching it over. So it's combining where it's going to say Ashley Tamar, because Tamar Davis is verified. So it's a lot of little ropes to go through and send your ID and all that stuff. So it's slowly, everything is just going to say Ashley Tamar.
That's awesome. And
so is that part of why there's you reworked some songs okay. All right. So it's kind of to make that connection back to that original album, because there's like three or four songs. I think there's 3 songs that you have on there that you kind of reworked. Yeah. And I like what you did with the new reworking. It really, I mean, the originals were really good, but there's a little something special with some of the changes you made, and I really like it. So
thank you. Yeah, I really wanted to put thanks, Susie. I really wanted to in what I'm doing now with music supervision and all that stuff, I'm really understanding my purpose more and more and more now. And I feel like there's such a voice. You know how they're saying in TV and film they want more representation or more this or more that. I feel like from the independent artists and composition side, there's a slew of people that have been wondering how to get in and how to do that. And I feel like now I'm able to be that catalyst. And so this project was that. It's a guy named Jermaine Williams I've known since MySpace days. He has been one of the most loyal people I know. And so those reworkings is him. And you would think it's him and 10 other people, and it's literally him. And we outsource the sax player on Love Speaks, or Lovely the hashtag song is Jason Moran, Mark Kelly from The Roots, and Eric Harlan, and they're all from Houston. Nice. They're all from my high school. And then of course Mono Neon is on Boyfriend. We're about to film a video for that, and I'm so excited to do that video. Like,
I can't wait to see that.
Me either. The concept is bananas, you guys. And then What Is This Feeling? And Boyfriend was What Is This Feeling? I composed by myself with thinking about clocks and ticking. So that's why it's like tick tock tick, that. And then the guy who did that and Boyfriend is from Poland.
Oh,
so, yes, I just wanted to work with people.
Ride and die. Want to share your heart? See, I want to know my name when I walk by. Don't whistle at me, boy. I'm saying goodbye. You know I want it.
Yeah, it's such a great tune. I'm glad that I was on that track with you. And one of the things I was so excited, and you already had mentioned it before, I am a huge Police fan. That was one of the first concerts that I got to see when I was a kid by myself. That was the first concert. Was the Police on their Synchronicity tour, and the Fix was on the Reach the Beach tour. And it was one of the first concerts that I had been to by myself, and I had seats very, very similar to Rob did in that Purple Rain, where it was behind the stage.
You didn't throw your gum at Stewart, did you?
Well, I don't know if you heard that story, Tamar, but we'll tell you later. But
No,
anyways,
sorry.
this I find that Stuart Copeland is doing a tour that's going to be in 5 cities, Atlanta being one of them. Yes, Police Deranged, where Stuart is actually going to be doing performing in front of the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. And you are involved in this show, and I have to know. I got to know what's going on here. I'm so excited I can't even breathe. Right, it's just unbelievable. And I'm in town that day, which is ridiculous. So.
Yeah, I still am pinching myself. Once again, this is a part of what I was saying. It's a life that, I really say, God, let your will be done, and it's not easy because you don't understand. There's days I'm just like, what? I've technically not worked since May, since that damn Michael Che show. And, man.
That is actually the title of the show, just in case anybody who has not heard of that.
Damn Michael Che.
It's called That Damn Michael Che Show. And it's it's on HBO. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Matter of fact, my brother-in-law and I have tickets to go see him do stand-up when he comes through Atlanta. But that show is freaking hilarious. And I can't. Which episode are you on? I
didn't realize you were.
No, I did the music supervision, guys. I'm like,
that's even better because now I can see the whole other aspect of it. Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, so when you meet him, because I know you are, Chris, you find your way, your favorite. So when you meet him, be like, I know you're a music supervisor.
I have my in now.
Yeah, and so Stuart Copeland, you guys, I don't even know where to start. I'm still pinching myself. I don't think it will hit me. Now, listen, I'm going to tell y'all this, and y'all can try not to tell everybody what I just said. But there's only like 2 people that I would go berserk over. Prince was not one. For some reason, he just felt like family. So like when I first saw him, I was just like, hey. He's like, hey. He's like, do you know Never Loved a Man? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. And then from there, it was just history, right? So, but Stuart Copeland and Sting. The day I see Sting, you guys are probably going to have to, I'm going to officially be a fangirl. And I'm telling you the world now, Sting, I don't know if you'll ever hear this before I meet you. But just to sing... Every little thing she does is magic. Every little thing, to Every Breath You Take, to Roxanne. I was like, yes. And just like rehearsing at Stuart's house, and just like, I literally just, I don't even think they thought I could talk. I was just so like, so yeah, I mean, our first show is in San Diego, and it's with the San Diego Symphony, and I don't know you guys are probably gonna see the most photos and videos this whole weekend ever. I'm gonna document so much, and he likes to take photos, so I already have something in my phone now that I haven't posted yet of him, so I can't wait to like.
Oh my God! You got to send something to me. So, is there any other vocalists on it, or is this just you? During the whole show?
It's 3 of us, and we split the song. So, and they are revered in their own right. It's Carmel Gaddis and Amy Keys. She sings like Phil Collins, and but it's 3 of us. We're out front. We're out front. We're out front.
Oh my God. I am just, oh my God, I can't even. So many amazing people giving you shout outs here. I saw that LAW's in the house. LAW. Yeah.
No, have y'all heard the song that I did with Law? But have y'all heard the song? Okay, so let me tell y'all the story about Law. So I called him up. Law, what was it? 3 weeks ago? So I forgot that I recorded the song with Law and Jelly Bean. Totally forgot. So matter of fact, I'm behind on posting it. So I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, we had just talked, and I was like, oh no, we just talked on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I have a song with Law. Let me Google it. You guys, I was driving in the car and had to pull over. What a funky song. So it's me, Jelly Bean, and Law. And I wrote it like 2 years ago. And I was like, I called him. I was like, Law, this song is crazy. You know,
What's this
but
one called?
Law, what's the title? I forgot the title. Hold on. Let me find it.
Oh, Law will tell us.
Yeah. Now I'm like looking for it.
I was just listening to that earlier today. I'm trying to find it too.
Yeah.
Shattered Pieces. Shattered
Shattered
Pieces. Oh,
I'm gonna have
thanks,
to check it out.
Alicia. Yeah, Shattered Pieces.
We'll see. I'll see if I can find some of that track. But let's talk about the brand new album because wait a minute, I found it. Hold on a second. It's off of Jelly Bean. That's on Jelly Bean's album, Experienced.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's Jelly Bean. Yeah. It's Jelly Bean.
Yeah. So I'll
Times I can say I love you, too late to forgive. Kiss and hug you.
Yeah, I have that album. Actually, Rob, you have the album signed by Jelly Bean somewhere.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, that's right.
great tune.
Among us needs to repent.
And as many times as Jelly Bean's been on the show, and as much love as I have for Jelly Bean, I want to talk about the brand new album. My Name is Ashley. That is,
Yes.
Rob and I were talking, and Jeff was joining in the conversation too. We were talking about this album is insane. It's so friggin' good. I'm so happy for you that this album is out, and so tell me a little bit about the journey, because we've all been dealing with it, but as artists, independent artists, dealing with COVID and everything else, it's just been a nightmare for musicians. So tell me a little bit about the journey of putting this album together, and I don't even know where you would start, because it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, this album, it started with, honestly, you guys, I wasn't even caring about putting out music. I was just so done with it. And Michael Nachny, the composer from Poland, not searched me out, but he was looking for new talent to work with. And somehow he came across my Instagram page, and he had never heard of me. And he just kind of reached out, and I just was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, send me some music, and didn't think anything of it. And his music was so breathtaking. And so I met him in the studio. I played him some music that I had been composing just on my computer. Because I went through a divorce in 2018, and I just started composing. I think I have some snippets. I think I have one snippet up, and it reminds you of like a Harlem Nights, Harlem Renaissance kind of vibe. And I put Melvin Jones on trumpet at the end. And so I was like, dang, I started loving producing and creating my own music from the ground up. And so I let him hear like 3 songs, and he took a liking to What Is This Feeling? And so he was like, can I really, produce a version of this? And so he produces it. And of course, he finds out of my story. He was like, do you think Jelly Bean would want to be on here? And I was like, heck yeah, it's a phone call. So Jelly Bean added his flair, and it was a totally different, like,
Oh, this song.
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember when you said your name, I didn't want to leave your side.
It's got a great ambiance.
Your presence and your charm left me speechless. You had me at hello.
Great tune. Great tune.
yeah. So that was the first song. And then the supporters, thanks to Tam Fan, they were like, hey, what are you going to do to celebrate 10 years of My Name is Tamar? And I was like, 10 years? It hasn't been 10 years. And, that's the thing now with social media. People, post the anniversary of this. And I noticed how that's a big deal for people to go down memory lane. So I was like, oh, so that's what sped me up to talking to Jason Moran and Mark Kelly and all of them to do Love Speaks from the first album. Kind Words is one of my favorites. I wrote that with an Israeli guitar player named Moses. And then Heartbeat, of course, was like the favorite to this very day of everyone. So I was like, let me call Jermaine. And he added so much flair to the song, like Kind Words, for it to sound very, beach side. But then all of a sudden it comes in feeling like this whole, like, just that, yeah, it's just, and the boom boom part on there, I had, when I perform it live, I have a mashup with the Whisper song. So wait till you see my, hey, so that beat, boom, 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 boom. So he made it live, and so that's the mashup that you kind of hear. And then Kind Words, we worked with this guitar player named John Caldron, who is just Houston talent. Is just,
It's
Oh
just-
yeah.
I know you never heard the words I love you, so nice and pure. Never felt
we literally I could sit here and just analyze every single one of the song, all the pieces. I love hearing the artistry of crafting a song and putting the pieces together to create some amazing music. And that's one of the things that I was telling the guys is that I gotta call Tamar, and so I've got to get her on the show. We got to talk about this album. And I can't tell you how excited I am for you that this album came out the way as strong as it did, because it's just so amazing. It's just so good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for
my
you.
goal on this, thank you. No, seriously, when you text me, my heart dropped, because I know it's going to happen organically. I have more interviews coming up eventually, but I knew, even at my first time really listening to the project, someone hit my car and I just got it out of the shop. And I actually started playing the record in my car, and I kind of just cried, and I was like, I know this is like one of my favorite projects. And I just really feel deep down inside it's going to find some homes even, months from now. And I felt like the biggest thing I can do to it is do visuals for each one of them. So like I said, we're getting ready for Boyfriend. I'm going to do a campaign with all the supporters to see who has the best treatment and fly them in to be a part of it, of whatever that video would be. We're just thinking really like outside of the box and nuanced. And so, yeah, I'm going to do visuals to every last one of them. And there's a song that I'm putting out in October that's not on the record that I wrote with this guy named Will Carpenter. You guys, it's like a Tori Kelly meets like Ariana Grande, very songwriter. So I think I'm more excited about that song as a follow-up to.
Well,
so yeah, my whole thing now is I'm just about to give content, just content, and I'm not looking forward to make me billions of dollars. If it does, hallelujah. But I'm moving into ways where it's more longevity and paying it forward, and that's what I'm excited about.
Well, some of the highest the highest plays that we have off of your album that people, because our system is kind of set up where if people like a song when it's playing on the app, they can actually click like on it. And I know that All Lifelong and Fleek are like, they're just up there where people just like love those friggin' songs. Like,
wow. Well, I mean, you guys pray this way that I get more money to put, because I have an idea for a video for All Lifelong. So
that's such a
that's one of my favorite songs too.
God.
That's my mom's favorite song. Like, she'll call and it'll be playing in the background. I'll be like, Mom, I have a whole new album. She's like, yeah, no, I play that all the time, but I always play this song. And I was like, she really loves this song,
Yeah, it is. It's one of these tracks that people are just. It's just one of these songs that's just got such a great jam to it, and people, every time it gets on the radio, people just sit and just click, 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 click. It's just got this jam to it.
Yeah.
It's just such a great feeling. But yeah, it's as I said, it's one of the things I can tell you is that with your blessing, I would love to put all these tracks from this brand new album in rotation on the radio show on the radio program on Funked Up for sure, because I would do it in a second if you're okay with it.
Yes. And maybe we can create a premiere streaming of one of the videos, where you guys get to see it first.
Absolutely.
That would be it.
Let's do it. Oh, my gosh.
But be ready though if that happens, because this whole album, everything about it screams, "Come see me live."
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and it's so funny. So I haven't posted this picture yet, but Travis Payne is a dear mentor of mine. He's a choreographer for Michael Jackson. We just met 2 days ago, and so just stay tuned. You guys thought you'd seen Tamar, but you haven't really seen her. do her thing. So just.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You know I got nothing but love for you. We've stayed in contact even during the slow times, and I just every time I see some of the stuff you got going on. You had a cruise ship thing going on too. Is that still going on, or is that done, or what happened with that? Uh-oh, here we go. There's stories coming.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Did it again.
Gotta hear it.
I just don't understand how people think, you dangle carrots in certain artists' face and we're just gonna say, okay, I'll do whatever. No, like it like things weren't adding up, the I's weren't dotted. It's just I put a post finally. I was like, I never do this, but I was like, dear male promoters. So that's towards them. So I'm gonna be honest. Like it just got to a point where we had been negotiating and talking for a year for it to come down to like last minute, like, well, and it was just like, no, I'm not going anywhere by myself. I'm not going international and traveling by myself. A lot of women, some artists do, to each his own. I can't travel by myself just because of security things. And, I just would prefer to not. And I've been doing it my whole career. And so I got to a point where I was like, when I did the residency in Australia, I was like, I'm not going unless someone I know is with me. And that's how my brother was able to go with me. And I'm standing on certain things from here on out. And like certain things they didn't, some people don't want to put you insured. And I'm like, unless you're hiring my company and my company takes out the insurance, then, and that's what they were doing. They were hiring the company, but it wasn't enough money for me to pay for my own insurance. And now that I'm getting into live production and have put on 2 shows in Houston this year, like that's insurance for those musicians. It costs. And the more musicians you have, the more that it goes on that liability insurance. And the venue has to see my insurance before my client performs. You know what I mean? My talent performs. So it's just like, I know this business. You can't get me without certain things. I'm not going to fall off nobody's ship. And you calling my parents saying, well, oh, no. Yep. Not here. So yeah,
Man.
That's me. You guys have heard a lot from me that I don't really say, but that's it right there.
All right, that's that. Yeah, so that means you got to take it off your website because that's on the front page of your website. So
That's right. I do. I took it off of certain platforms, but I do need to take it off of there. That's right.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, it's going to be on the ship. I need to talk. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that, I'm okay with you guys listening to her album on Spotify because it's out and it's unbelievable and it's fantastic. But if you're on here with us, please, I want you guys to head to Amazon and actually buy it. A lot more money that way.
Own it.
0.001 cent per listen or whatever it is. Ridiculous.
That's right.
So please make sure that you go and you actually purchase the album. But before you go, and I really want to do this too, you guys also need to head to her website, ashleytamar.com, which I think automatically forwards to tamardavis.com, or is the reverse of that. But go to the website and actually purchase merchandise because 100% of the proceeds actually go to the Siren Arts Academy, if that's still legit. So tell me, girl,
that'll always be
insane busy. So tell people a little bit about the Siren Arts Academy before you go, because I want obviously people to see something about this.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me go get the book and the workbook. It'll make more sense that way. Hold on. Hold on.
That sounds even better.
Yeah.
So like you said,
I'm leaving too.
It's like you said, it's important, guys. You buy this music, just putting your thumbs up and liking is great, but it's all about support.
Yeah.
It's all about support.
Don't get me started on those likes things.
Oh my God. So Siren Arts
If you want to support our troops, like this. That doesn't
Yeah, those algorithms. I did a whole proposal for South by Southwest talking about the algorithms. It's just like it really is the death of the artist. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. I could talk about that for days. But the Siren Arts Academy means everything to me. If you go to my Instagram, it has my Linktree account where you can donate and sponsor a student or a school. So this year I'm officially going after that and filming a pilot in Atlanta. And so I created a book and a workbook. This one is 100 Things to Know as an Independent Artist. And this is the workbook. The workbook, you can literally write in it. It has like templates. It has a budget for independent artists because they don't think about a lot of things that they have to pay for. It has a whole workbook component, like to test your skills about the business. It has definitions. It has anything that I wish I could have had in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this book is very simple. It just counts down from 100, number 41, number 42, you know what I mean? It counts down. And it just has like definitions, or I drop nuggets of like, someone asked me recently, how did I get my moving graphics on Instagram and where I post with the music playing and the album spinning? And I was like, well, if you get my workbook, you would see, you know what I mean? So I kind of drop nuggets in here basically for the price of the book. So instead of you trying to pay the money for the consultation and stuff through the company, because I'm really focusing on the company really taking wings with all of the consultation and stuff, this book has it. And so right now, if you know, when you sponsor a book or whatever, it goes to a student. Like I literally ship them to students at schools. And the main reason I wrote it is because arts have been taken out of schools. And then the other part about it was I was so frustrated hearing kids always want to be a singer or an actor, or singers who didn't even consider acting, or they don't even know about the other industries like, you know, music supervision or coordinator or this or that, or even how to approach people that they admire to get into the business. And so it's all about non-traditional careers. I do a whole intense creative masterclass. They say they're not using the word master anymore, which makes sense because all the controversy. But it really does help because a lot of these schools, someone just approached me recently and was like, they can only afford for 10 students, you know, but after I'm dropping nuggets, like I just did recently for an organization, they were like, we've never heard of that website. And I was like, well, that's the biggest website you should know, you know, and they had people before me who had done master classes, and the director of this major company was like, we've never had anyone tell us this information. So I know what I bring is valuable, and it's lifelong longing. And these books are like kind of a way to get into the high schools, and hopefully I can get into more schools by the sponsorship and donations, you know, that come in for the books to get to the students.
Yeah, and if you want more information, Jeff has put the URL up there for tamardavis.com/Siren. That's SYREN-arts-academy. I also put up the link on YouTube and Facebook and Mixcloud directly to that link if you want to buy that book on Amazon, which I will be doing before I go to bed tonight, because I just want to do whatever I possibly can to support you, because you're such an amazing musician. I'm just, you know, I think Jeff and I were talking about this before. It just blows us away that you're not a household name at this point, because it's just the stuff that you're putting out, the music that you're putting out is just unfriggin' real. And I feel
like my time is here, though. I really do. I really feel
it
like
is. It's here.
The word of mouth is gonna, you know. So I'm just in line. I'm patient, and I know when it happens, you guys will probably just be like getting me tissue, you know, to pick up the tears for weeks. But you know.
But when you're in Atlanta doing that pilot, please send me a text. Let's go grab dinner or something.
I'm going to need your help. I'm telling you that now. So I'm going to pull in all the stage designers. You know, I have a budget, but I already know I'm going to need.
You know, talk to me. Yeah, I'm actually working on making some changes for myself too, and that will be part of it for sure. We'll talk offline. I don't want to get in trouble. But
no, you're fine.
Yeah, we're going to be making choices. Tamar, I know you got to get some rest, because I know you got a plane to catch and everything, and some books to read and memorize and everything. Please, everybody, go buy this album on Amazon. It's
so good.
Fantastic. And
you know what? It reminds me of some of those albums that came out in the 80s. That like you'd listen to, and like the whole album would be good, and like it would be different, but there'd be some funky music, there'd be some laid back music. I was listening to it today. I was thinking to myself, Chris, if you and I have heard this album back then, we'd have had this on play all the time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely, it would have been.
I really do, you guys. It is a prayer of mine. I just feel you guys saying that makes me a little emotional. I'm an emotional being anyway, but I really feel like something is gonna happen from the album. It got picked up on a major Spotify playlist like Boyfriend. And so that's why I was just like, if I have to use everything I have, I'm going to make sure these visuals are very definitive, and and I really have always felt like my sound should never be compromised. And this is the first project where I was like, I don't want it to be commercial or this. I just want it to be like songs that I have truly put my hand and blood, sweat, and tears into. And there's more songs, you guys. These are just the beginning, but these are, and a special shout out to my entire team and crew who worked. Every musician from Mono Neon to Jelly Bean, every last one of them said yes. And they did not take long to give me the files. And that's another thing, you guys, when you see these musicians who really support each other, like, please give them a pat on the back, because it's a lot for artists to call people that we want, and it's $10 million. They take forever to send you stuff, and every last one of these guys turn the songs around literally within days. So special hugs to them.
Yeah, that's always amazing. That's
Nice.
and the results are there. So much positive energy all throughout the chat room here, and it's completely
Thank you, Andrea.
It's completely warranted. There's so many people out here that just got nothing but love, and man, it's
Oh, I forgot to say it. I went down to
Hey,
Tucson.
Tamito. Sorry,
I went
I'm
down
just
to
saying
Tucson.
thank you.
No, that's cool. I went down to Tucson to move my daughter into college, and we were listening to your album while I was like getting her room set up and everything. And she looked at me and she said, "This is pretty good. Who is this?" I was like, "It's Tamar. I'll be talking to him next week." She was like,
Tell her
"This is
to
great."
bump it in the dorm and see what happens.
Yeah.
If that age group likes it, then I'm like in the money.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Because that age group is putting out music. Like, they're putting out music every other week. I'm like, who's footing these bills?
Yes.
You're definitely a contender for that, because you pulled it out with this one. I mean, you got that feeling, that old, that new, but that you
Yeah.
know what I
Ooh,
mean?
right.
It's not. It doesn't sound like, oh, she's trying to be this or she's trying to be
Mm-hmm.
that. This sounds like you. Every song that I listen to, all I could think of is, man, if I was in the room, I just want to be in the room. Like, this song is on, I'm like, oh, that's cozy. Like, words are coming to me like, cozy. What the heck, cozy? How
Well,
did I
just
come up
get
with that?
ready. I just get ready. I don't want to say ahead of time what the other songs and the styles are going to be, and then I have a huge announcement for next year, playing an iconic role in Houston in theater. So you guys get your tickets, get ready to come to Houston, because I'm telling you, I'm definitely throwing at least one big shebang and something, so
Let us know. Mei-Ling said she's already ordered your book and album. There was a message that was up here before from Stacy, said your David Brewer interview made me cry.
Thank you, Stacy. It was hard for me to hear, but
yeah, so it's your queen of your craft. All this stuff is just all these people, just nothing but love here. But dear, thank you so much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. It's always great to touch base with you. And again, I'm serious. Shoot me a text when you get to Atlanta. We'll do something. Yeah, I'll definitely help you out. Whatever you need.
Yeah, I'll hit you up ahead of time. I'm still trying to plan out what schools and which school I'm gonna go to and stuff. But yeah, I will. I promise.
That's going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Tamar, Ashley Tamar. And it's gone. She's
Smoothie burr.
All right, Tamar.
Smoothie burr.
All right. All right.
Sorry, Nick.
Yes.
He was like, the horn's got to go. No.
Sometimes it's appropriate.
Yes.
It's seriously, it's one of my favorites, especially when it comes out of nowhere. Like, I don't go to clubs, but I think the last time I went to like an event and something happened, they were like, burr, burr, burr. I was like, burr, 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 burr.
It's an iconic sound. All right, get some rest there. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll
Thank
see
you guys
later.
for having me. Thanks for everyone who joined in. Thank you so much.
We loved you. We love you.
Bye. I love you guys.
Love you, Tamar.
Bye. Love you. All right. Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God,
she's amazing, and
she's just so real. I love that about her. She is who she is, and it comes through in her music and her voice.
Yep. And as I said, make sure you go and get the album. That is My Name is Ashley. I put that link up there, the Amazon link. You can scroll up and get that Amazon link. Get it. You can check it out on Spotify. And you need to listen.
I love this cover. This cover is just, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah.
It's very Janelle Monáe. That seemed like something that she would do. It's got that type of, that's how like something she would do. But
I'm telling you, this song is so good. Like from the opening song, it just punch you in the face. Listen to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
Totally.
Well, what's funny is that we still actually have actually I gotta take this out. This is ridiculous.
It's okay.
We still have I'm trying to figure out how to disconnect or how to drop this, because I want to drop this person so it's not. Anyways,
someone's on the phone line waiting for.
No one's on the phone line.
They're waiting to talk to Tamar.
Wow. Take it off because
is that the president?
Maylink freaked me out because she said that you couldn't hear Tamar. I mean, they could hear us and we could hear them, but for whatever reason, I guess Tamar you couldn't hear Tamar, which is, I think the first caller was able to hear Tamar.
Yeah, I think she meant through the phone or something.
Through the phone, yeah, I think that's what she was talking about.
Well, anyways, what's funny is that we don't have that much time left on the show. Like I said, we went to 11, it would be 40 minutes, but I guess what's crazy is that what does it say? Hold on a second. Nick says, dang it, I got a lot on my plate and can't really hear the show. I'm very interested in it. Would you please send me the show link? So if you can't make it, that's okay. As I'm telling you, as long as you're a Patreon supporter, you're going to have access to this entire show in its entirety, unedited, with all of our rabbit holes and everything else. But just give us a few days and we're going to get up the link specifically with the Tamar interview. And then this section, if it even amounts to anything.
If it doesn't hurt too much.
If it doesn't hurt too much, we wanted to I don't even know how to even segue into this shit. It's just anyways, we wanted to do, and this was actually going to be the show. And then when Rob was talking about the Tamar album and I started listening to the Tamar album and I was just like, I've got to call her. She's got to be on the show. And so at that point I was just like, she just got to be on the show. So I called her and then she became the focus of the show. And so, but what I wanted to do initially was, I'm just going to leave this video for a second. What I wanted to do initially was I wanted to hear your stories about your celebrity accounts. And just, that's basically what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to hear your stories. And that was so stupid. I actually disconnected from this, and I shouldn't have, because
now we can't hear their stories.
No, because you can still hear us because the phone line is still going. The phone line is still going, but what I wanted to do was I was going to go ahead and kind of start the whole thing by sharing. Did I already close it? You stupid dumbass! I closed it. I'm talking about myself. I was talking about myself.
That's so sad.
I know. I wanted to share.
Okay.
I wanted to start the story process because many people have heard this story, but I just kind of wanted to get people's juices flowing as far as thinking about things that may have happened to them in relation to celebrities. I have tons of stories. If you've ever been in my office is full of my office walls is full of pictures of musicians that I've met and artists that I've met and actors that I've met and just people that I've met. And somehow I managed to keep all of my photos in. There's tons of them that are not up there, but for those who don't know, we're going to go get this started. This is a picture of myself and George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic, and this was post when he used to have all the colorful braids in his hair, and let me stop and drink a wine here.
That'll help.
Oh, better now.
But anyway, I had never had an opportunity to actually meet George Clinton. And when I finally got an opportunity to meet him, it was actually, I was invited to do come backstage as press to cover the event and to cover this concert. And so I was there to cover George Clinton. I was there to cover Robert Randolph and the Family Band. I was there to cover, who else was there? There was I think Galactic was there. I can't remember who all was there. But anyways, so I finally get to meet George, and I want to do an interview with him. And I actually have, I have a recorder in my pocket, and I'm wanting to interview him. And I've got like all these questions. I have all these questions running through my head. It's like, okay, I'm gonna ask him about, how he got started, and I want to ask him. I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'll have a good Funkatopia interview for Funkatopia. We'll talk, all this stuff. So I have my recorder in my pocket, and I get backstage, and this is actually us standing up. But before this, we were actually sitting down. And this is a single wide trailer, just so we're clear. It's a single wide trailer, and it's right after the show. And everybody in this trailer, there's probably about 4 joints being passed around this single wide trailer.
That explains it.
And I was not, believe it or not, you can believe what you want to, but I swear if I did it, I would tell you, Rob would tell you, I would say I did it. I was not doing it because I wanted to do a cohesive interview with George Clinton, but it was not working because it was not working because I was sitting in a single wide trailer right next to George Clinton in a haze of smoke. Like the whole entire trailer was full of smoke, as you can tell by our eyes.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there and I'm trying. I'm like, everybody's coming in and talking to George, and I'm sitting in a chair, and George Clinton is sitting right next to me, and we're sitting right next to each other. And I'm like, I'm trying to find the right moment to get in there and ask him a question. I'm getting more high as I'm sitting there. Now, so it's like I might as well have smoked. Because I was just like, I was really feeling it, as you could tell in the photo. And I just eventually got to the point where I was just like, this is just not going to happen because I can't find a moment to do it. And even when there was time where there was like a little bit of silence, and him and I were just kind of talking a little bit, I was like, hey, good show, blah blah blah, a little small talk. I just finally decided, screw it, an interview is not going to happen just because there's so many people that want a piece of George. And so I look at my watch, it's like 3:00 in the morning. I don't even remember what time it was, but it was really late.
But you wanted a snack.
I was just like, you got any Little Debbie's over there in the corner? And then I lean over to George. Again, we're sitting right next to each other. I lean over to George, and I tell him in his ear, I said, George, I just got to go, man. It's getting late. And without missing a beat, like it's a punchline, he leans back over to me and he gets in my ear and he goes, pussy. And I had to laugh. I grinned and bear it for about another 15 minutes, and I eventually got up and left. But I just thought, if there's anybody in the world that can get away with that, it's George Clinton. And I was just like, this is like an iconic moment, and it was just so funny. It was such a funny moment it was just such a hilarious moment. And I'm sure there's some other moments that people have where you've met a celebrity under funny circumstances or under strange circumstances. But anyways, I wanted to get the ball rolling and just kind of share mine. And Jeff, do you have any weird celebrity stories that have any kind of?
As much as you'd think I do, I really don't have any weird stories. I've had things happen, but nothing that's, I'm actually way more shy and quiet than you would think when I'm out. I just don't do that. So
So you've never met a celebrity and been like really starstruck and just been kind of like just.
I mean, internally, but I've always had that thing, when you get around them, it's always been work related.
Right.
So I've never just been somewhere where I happen to randomly see them and go, oh my gosh, there was one incident. All right. There were two incidents, but they weren't exciting like yours. All right. But I was at a concert. It was a show, and it was in Boston because that's my hometown. It was at the what used to be the Harbor Club, I think it was, and Brian McKnight was performing there.
There we go. Now we got a story. Brian McKnight topic. It's a good story.
Yeah, but when I go to shows, I don't really go there and do anything. I just enjoy the show, whatever. But I knew some people, and me and my buddy were hanging out backstage after the show. But just like everywhere I go, I just keep to myself. So I'm standing there. There's this sea of people, and people are just all over the place, like ooh and ah, and I saw and Brian's on the other side standing, and I'm standing where I'm looking, and there's just this sea of people, and everyone wants to touch and meet, and I don't say anything, and it's almost like he's like, gosh, these people, because he looks through this crowd like the sea parted, and it sounds kind of weird, but we locked eyes, like, it's like, look, and he started making his way in my direction, like just kind of like, like if you picture a scene from Airplane, he wasn't doing it, but it's kind of like, no, and he comes over, and we're kind of close in each other's space, and he just goes, "What's up?" And I said, "What's up?" That was it. That was it. That's it.
Gosh. Yeah, it's like
that's my story. I got nothing else.
I've never been really flustered or been like starstruck, and the only situation where I was really like I couldn't talk and I was just like I was so tongue tied is as for a band that many of you have heard me talk about. Rob is well aware of my fandom. Is a band called The Fix. And they were they came on the radio, and many people know One Thing Leads to Another. That was their huge hit. That was on the radio back in the 80s, and they had Saved by Zero and Red Skies at Night, and they had a bunch of Stand or Fall. They had tons of tunes. But anyways, this was like way into it. This is probably 1990. They had released an album called Ink, and so their fame was already gone. The 80s were gone. Their fame was gone. Nobody was paying attention to them. But for me, I was still absolutely fangirled about this band. They came on a radio station. I think it was 96 Rock in Atlanta. They came on a radio station, and they were about to do a concert in Atlanta. And so they appeared on the radio, and they said, "You can call in and talk to The Fix." And I was like, "Oh my God." And I got on the phone, and I literally, they picked up the phone, and they were like, and Cy Critter was like, "Hi, who's on the line?" And I was just like, "Oh no, blah, blah, blah." I literally sounded like I had a speech impediment. I couldn't get words out. I'm stumbling over myself. I couldn't breathe. I was just like, and I couldn't figure out why. And I guess the DJ at the time kind of walked me through it. I guess he was like, "You're going to be okay. What? You'll be all right. Just calm down. You like the new album?" I was like, "Yes, love the new album." It's like, "Why don't you pick a song off the new album that we can play?" And I was just like, "Shut It Out." And they said, "All right, we're going to play the song, Shut It Out." And then they played the song on the radio. And then I was on the air with The Fix off the air. And I was like yammering to the DJ, "Oh, I'm so glad you played this song. It's going to do so much for their career." But I was just like, yeah, I was fanboying out. And I remember hanging up the phone and going, "You know what? I am never going to do that shit again." I literally just lost my shit on national radio. And it was like the worst thing ever.
You had to change your underwear.
I had to change my name and move cities.
It was one more boring story. I'll give one more. But this is typical. This is how they end up for me. I don't know, but I used to, this was maybe in 99. I used to hang out at a lot of clubs. I like to go to clubs. I just want to dance. I go out and I throw down, whatever. And it was, I don't remember the name, which one it was, but it was one of those clubs in Atlanta. where there's multiple rooms, different things going on in each room. And I just happened to be in the house, just doing house. And, there's one of those moments where, dance like nobody's watching, where, you go into a house room, people are just going to be going in, And so I was just going in, doing my thing. And I stopped for a minute and I took a break and I backed up and I looked over and over next to me, because it was watching me. And I felt like somebody was watching me, like that weird feeling. I looked over and it was Usher. And he's standing there and he's just looking at me, like he had his glasses on. And he was just sitting there. I mean, really hard looking, just like, But I was like, was that Usher? I was like, that's Usher. And he just did the same thing. He looked over. Sup? Sup? And I went back to dance. My life is full of sups.
This is what does to people. It's not. He's not getting flustered with stars. Stars are getting flustered with him.
They don't know what else to say. They go.
They're in Jeff's presence and they don't even know what to say. They just,
who is this guy? He must be somebody.
They just default to "What's up?"
You're like,
so.
Oh my God. And I mean, I could sit here and tell stories all night, and I probably, yeah. And Rob can tell you, for some reason, I would always find myself with the most precarious of situations. Not for some reason. It seems like I was a magnet to some really weird stuff. It was just weird. I have Kim Basinger stories. I have Prince stories. I have the Prince. I'm not going to tell the story again about me singing with him, but the one time that was hilarious to me was I didn't meet him on that night, but it was an after party in Atlanta. Once again, an after party in Atlanta, and he wasn't performing that night at the club. He was just coming to be there. He was just coming to hang out, walk around, and do whatever. But he was upstage. He was upstairs in the balcony of this club, and I snuck in a book bag somehow, and it had one of those disposable cameras in it. And I was walking towards the restroom, and I happened to look out my left hand, at my left side, and Prince is coming down the stairs, and he stops on the stairs like 3 steps up from the bottom, 3 or 4 steps up from the bottom. He just stops with his hand on the rail like he's posing. And he's locked eye contact with me. And I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and I slowly reach into my book bag and I grab the disposable camera and I go, click. And I put it back in my book bag, and he looks at me and he just shakes his head, and then he turns and walks back up the stairs. And I've told the story before, but I have no idea what happened to that disposable camera. I brought it home, and there was a drawer at one point in time that had like 6 disposable cameras in it, and I was just like, it's on one of these freaking cameras. And then I asked my wife one day, I said, where's those disposable cameras? I probably threw it away. And I was like, oh no, please don't tell me that. I'm hoping that it's like somewhere in a box somewhere, and then probably after I'm dead and gone, somebody will develop and go, holy crap, there's a picture of Prince in here. But yeah, it was so funny because it was just this little small moment where we were locking eyes. I was just like, click. It was almost a little bit psychotic, but
Maisha said Prince took it.
Yeah. Hopefully we got calls. People want to tell their celeb stories. Let me see if I can pull this on here. We got a caller on the line. Who's on the line? Mei-Ling. Oh, I know you got stories, girl.
I got so many stories and I can't tell them all because they're in the book, but there's some good ones with Marvin Gaye, Maya Angelou. I was in the business, so there's a lot of stories. Some pretty risque. But one of my favorite stories was with Michael Jackson.
Oh.
I was 14. The concert was in Minnesota. My first concert my mom let me go to. I went with my girlfriends. One of my girlfriends was from Chicago, but she went to school with us in St. Paul. And I'm standing in the concession stand, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, hey, you want to go backstage and meet Michael Jackson? And I had the stickers and I had the fan club. I was going to marry him like every 12, 14-year-old girl was, right? And I was like, me? He goes, yeah. And I go, can my friends come? And he says, sure. So we all go back there, and I was shocked because there's a bunch of women back there, and women, young girls, and the Jackson 5 were in like a chaperone line at a wedding. And so you would go by and shake each one's hand, and the women were literally passing out. And I was like,
oh my
are
gosh.
you kidding me? These chicks are passing out? And I'm 14, and I was raised, everybody's blood and urine are the same. Don't put anybody on no pedestal. And I was just shocked. I was like, what? These women are literally passing out. 14-year-old girls. We were like worried about them. And anyway, it gets better. So then there's like this whole group. We were eating cookies and talking to the Jackson 5. When I do it now, I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool. And then they decide they're going to go out to the show. So we go with them out the side door. Apparently, the people that were at the concert knew they were coming out that door.
Oh.
And we're trying to shake their hands, and they broke the barrier. And somebody grabbed either Jermaine or Tito's ring, and they couldn't find the ring. And people were scrambling for it.
Oh my gosh.
And then the Jackson 5, I got pushed against the wall, couldn't breathe, was having an asthma attack. I said, dang, these people need better security. Next thing I know, Jackson 5 jump in their limo and leave.
When those crowds get carried away, it's insane.
My first concert, I could have died literally.
Did you get to keep the cookie?
Our seats, and we were up front, and they pulled my girlfriend, who was from Chicago. She was like a pop lock dancer up on stage. Gloria was jamming. So that was my first concert. It was Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. That was pretty
that's
awesome.
What kind of cookies were they?
I have no idea. The sad thing is, I had him sign an autograph. Now, that autograph I cannot find. It was a little autograph book that all the little girls had when we were 12 and 14. And they signed each one. And I don't know what happened to that book.
Well, thanks for the story.
But that's my Jackson 5 story.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. She lost her cookies.
Yeah, we got another call here. Let's see. It's the 812 area code. Who's on the line here?
Cookies with the king of pop.
Who's on the line?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It is your favorite producer. It's
Hey, Cammy, how you doing?
Hey, Cammy.
I'm doing great. I'm calling in to tell you about the horrible experiences that I have, because whenever I meet someone famous, I totally embarrass myself.
Okay.
Unless it's Rob Rhythm. And I think I did good with Rob.
I'm not technically famous.
You know, it's funny that you say that, Cammy, because Rob went with me for the first time to Minneapolis, and he was a little bit taken aback because we were standing in. First off, when I first got to the airport, we came in on separate airports. People were stopping and going, "Oh, you're Mr. Christopher," and I was like, "This is just so weird." And then we got to Minneapolis, and I met Rob, and we were standing in line to get a rental car, and somebody came up and was like, "Oh, hey, it's Mr. Christopher." And then Rob was like rolling his eyes, like, "I can't believe this is happening." And then they turned to him and they go, "Hey, Rob." And he was like, "What the hell is going on?" Why
it's kind of weird. I'm kind of used to like people coming up to you and saying, "Hey," and then I just kind of like fade to back, but nope.
All right, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt your story. Go ahead.
Sorry, Cammy.
That's fine. I think it was back in the early 90s. Farm Aid was in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
And I went with a friend of mine, I went to the night before Farm Aid that Q95, Bob and Tom, our local Indianapolis radio station, had put on the night before. And it was a huge event. A lot of the stars came out to perform. And me and my friend had gone to the bathroom. And as we were walking to the bathroom, there was a group of people leaving. And we just happened to look over, and we noticed that one of them was Bonnie Raitt.
Ah,
and
nice.
In my head, I just thought, oh, it's Bonnie Raitt. Let's scream her name and run at her so we can say hi to her, as you do. And we both ran at her, and she turned around and looked at us. At the same time, her security guards threw us both against the wall, and she waved at us as they held us there, and she left. That is the
Man.
I got to Bonnie Raitt. Later that evening, I went to the bathroom and passed the men's bathroom as the lead singer for Cinderella came out, and we ran smack dab into each other. And I looked up, and he just looked down at me, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I couldn't speak. I just stood there staring at him, and he just patted me on the head and walked away.
And you're hoping, I hope he washed his hands.
Yeah.
With the Bonnie Raitt thing, they didn't pull out rubber gloves or anything. Like they weren't going to search you.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So those were of my bad ones. Another bad one, I was selling for Pampered Chef, and I was in Chicago and was walking down Michigan Avenue after dinner one night, and this handsome-looking gentleman was walking towards me, and I thought, well, he looks really familiar. When he got really close, I thought, that's Oprah's boyfriend, Stedman. And he saw that I knew who he was, and as he got closer, he knew I was going to do something, and he picked up the pace. And as he got faster, I yelled at the girls with me, "That's Stedman." We took off running after him down Michigan Avenue, chased him into a Walgreens. We chased him out the back exit, and they had to stop us and told us, "You'll never catch him. Oprah's apartment's not too far away." So as we were walking back to the apartment, or back to the hotel, I told my girls, just think, Oprah knows who we are now. At this moment, he's telling some crazy, white, insane women chasing me down Michigan Avenue. That's us.
A sprinter.
We're not famous.
I've never met Stedman, but I met him in Atlanta. I got to shake his hand, and he was doing some seminar, and he actually wrote a book. It's a small book. It's here somewhere. It's a really, really small. It's not even a normal size book. It's like one of those ones you like stick in your pocket. It's a really small book, and I got to meet him. I didn't realize he was that tall. I think he's like 6'2", or it kind of surprised. Yeah, it kind of surprised me. I was just like, oh, I didn't know that you were that tall for whatever reason. There's some people you just don't. You're surprised. The lead thing.
I initially thought that the people around Bonnie Raitt were overreacting, but now that I hear the Stedman story, no,
he lives here where I live, so I run into him occasionally in Bloomington because that's where we do all of our grocery shopping. That's where all my doctors are. And I was at my doctor's one day and was getting ready to make an appointment for my next visit, when all of a sudden all the girls behind the counter start freaking out. And one of them runs around to the waiting room, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And they escort John through and right past the scales. And without thinking, I yell out, "Oh, hell no, get his ass back here and put him on that scale. If I have to get weighed every time I come in, he has to get weighed too." And he turned around and looked at me and died laughing. And I looked at him and I said, "I'm not kidding. Get on that." And then they just took him on to his room.
At least you didn't have to chase him.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
She didn't have to chase Stedman either.
So,
yeah.
But thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for all the stories, Cammy. I appreciate
Those are
it.
good stories.
Cammy, that's awesome.
And Rob, sorry I wasn't at the brunch the next day. Hope you guys had a good time.
Oh, we had a great time. I'm sorry you weren't there too. I was kind of looking for you, but
Can't hear
the brunch was
he's saying that they had a great time. Yeah, I don't know I don't know. Everybody can hear me, but apparently they can't hear. I guess they can't hear Jeff or Rob. And this has never been. That's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird scenario because we've had callers on the show before that we've had full blown conversation. So I don't. But he said they had a great time. So
yeah, sorry we missed you.
Actually, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and disconnect you, and you can turn up your radio and listen to his reply.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Thanks, Kevin.
bye-bye.
All right, bye. And Rob,
like you?
Rob, if you want to reply now to the brunch that you must have missed.
Yeah, no, that was a great brunch that the Purple Paisleys put on. It was a lot of fun. They had it was good food, good people, all that. And then I am kind of sorry you weren't there, Cammie, because then afterwards, me and some of the people went out and saw the wild horses out in east of Phoenix. That because oh gosh, I'm gonna forget her. I can't forget her. I've forgotten her name now. But somebody there actually works protecting the horses, and so she took us out there, and she was like, "I don't know if we'll see them or not." And we got out there, and we got real close to them, and it was really cool. Nick was out there with us. Nick and his wife, Sandra, Bridget. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, next time.
So there's a lesson here, right? You were able to get up close to the horses, like the wild horses. And because you didn't chase them, maybe?
Right, I did not chase them. So yeah, maybe Cammie coming along wouldn't have been a good idea. She would have scared them.
Just wave and work your way over and just go like I do. Sup?
Actually, that's exactly what happened. They just came up. They were like,
I
love it.
I was trying to think of the comedian. Oh my gosh, there's a wild horses story that he tells about him and his daughter, and how they were in a hotel, and Louis C.K. and his daughter were in a hotel, and they were staying in a hotel scenario, and when they opened the door, it like looked out onto a field, and there were wild horses that were out there, and it was like a magical moment between him and his daughter. Oh, look, there's wild horses out there. And apparently she was like, "Can I pet him?" And Louis was like, "Sure, go out and pet the horse." And so she went out there and to pet the horse, and the horse bit her. The horse bit her, and Louis was like, "I have no idea why I thought this is going to go perfectly fine. I think it's going to go wrong here."
Wild animals and children go well together.
Sure, it's a wild animal, untamed wild horses out in wilderness. Go up, touch it. Go ahead and pet that coyote while you're out there.
Just poke it.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
They really like it when try to ride them.
You gotta be fast. You gotta be fast. You gotta chase him like Stedman.
Just chase him. Just run after him.
Lady was commenting on my story about Prince picture. Was actually funny because it was a disposable camera that made that noise. So
you did, and then you were like,
all of those sound effects were there, and I think that kind of that added to it. It was just funny. I wish he was standing behind me with the phone actually recording the whole thing, because that would have been hilarious. Stacey said, "I met Maite in 2017 at her first dance class in Atlanta. Told her I saw Prince's last show, and we spent a little time talking about it. She was so sweet." Yeah, Maite's a sweetheart. I was talking about Rodney, trying to get her on the show. Rodney, if you're still Rodney was talking about Ursher. Hey, down. Anyways, so I have to rep Atlanta ATL every single time I'm on the show, just because I don't know, it's a marketing thing. Yay. Actually, that's West Side. That's West Side is ATL. Anyways, what was I going to do here? Yeah, so Rob, you don't have any celeb stories?
Jesus Christ. It's funny. I really don't. I mean, I've met nerd people, because I was writing that comic book back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I met people like Harlan Ellison, who is an amazing writer. he's passed away. You know, J. Michael Straczynski, the guy who wrote Babylon 5, created Babylon 5. You know, I met some other comic book creators like Dave Sim and Gerhard. You know, the guy who created Spawn, I can't think of his name. But yeah, no, they're not. We're like
Seth. No, what's the guy's name?
I can't remember his name. It wasn't that special.
No, it wasn't Seth MacFarlane. That he just created the.
Yeah, McFarlane. Yeah. He actually lives in Phoenix.
I knew that.
What's that?
I'm actually surprised I knew that.
I'm surprised you knew it too, because I forgot it. But yeah, I met some of those people, and it was never like really that interesting. I mean, J. Michael Straczynski, like, I don't know. He was just
Todd McFarlane. I said Seth MacFarlane. Todd McFarlane.
So,
thank you.
Todd
Rod.
McFarlane. Yes, Todd McFarlane. He was kind of standoffish. I actually have a really long, great story about me and the guy who worked with Dave Sim, who was one of the first people to write an independent comic book forever called Cerebus. But that's way too long and too involved, and I've forgotten a lot of it. It basically at one point involved me just standing on the side of the road, me and him standing on the side of the road waiting for our ride to come back in Pittsburgh, in the middle of like a residential area. It was messed up.
But write a 200-page book about it.
I wrote something in the back of one of my books about it at some point, but yeah, I haven't had the only musician. Well, I guess I met a couple of musicians, but the only musician that I've like met and like talked to for a brief period of time was Bob Schneider, and I kind of did the same thing you did, Chris. I didn't really present myself very well, and I'm trying to think. Oh, Stanton Moore. I met him from the drummer for Galactic, who he's like my drumming idol, and he's amazing. He did a drum class here at one of the music stores, but again, nothing exciting. You know, he could care less about meeting anybody, because as far as I could tell.
I got nothing. I got nothing but love for him. But he is the two times that I've seen him interact with fans, he was a little bit douchey.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I don't think he's not going to be on the show anytime soon either. He's like, you want
I would love it if he was. Like I said, he's my idol, but you know.
Next week we'll have Torre and Stanton.
Stanton Moore.
This is our douchey artist special. For those who
I'm never going to meet him. I'm never going to talk to him again now, apparently.
For those who are wondering what Rob was talking about, comic book, I'll go live. But this is his comic book. Actually, these are his comic books. This is White Raven. Rob is actually the writer of this comic. And there were 7 episodes of
7.
it?
Yeah,
it was. 7. I think I have 6 of them. I think there's one I'm missing.
How do you not have all of them?
I don't. I may have all of them. I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably underneath the first episode of Bloodshot, which I was so excited about that it was coming out as a movie. I was like, I've been sitting on this friggin' comic forever. Now it's finally a movie, and Vin Diesel's Bloodshot. And then the pandemic hit, and then again, this theater's all closed. And it was like, and then it just like disappeared into the ether. And I was like, shit. I was like, it was so close. I could turn around and sell this comic for like $70 and walk away.
If you're lucky.
75.
See, look, I'm not even dead yet, and Rodney's starting in on this Fox.
Chris, I swear, when you first turned around and grabbed that box and opened it, it looked like a pizza box, and I was just like, "No way!"
I like all these old collectible comics, Star Wars comics.
Oh, nice!
This is actually a first one too, 001.
Wow, 001. You can't trust that anymore. They renumber everything now a million times.
All right, yeah, this is the one I was talking about that Rodney says he has this too, which is the foil Bloodshot. That's actually,
you know what? I think I have that too. Now I think about it.
The first one, and this is actually,
that was like from the 90s.
Yeah, And yeah, it was cool. I think paid $3.50 for it, and I think it's doubled in price over 30 years. I still have friends that have the whole entire Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Get your money back. That's good. You can sell it.
Yes, that's right.
Good investment.
I'm still reeling from freaking cryptocurrency stock. So
Right.
I was doing okay there for a while, and then I pulled all my money out of Cardano. I had like a bunch of money, and Cardano was like, "This is going nowhere," and I pulled it out. Now it's like went like, oh, and I was like, God dang it, I can't read anything. I'm just unfreaking real. Anyways, I got one more story here. Nope, that's not the one. I was trying to click on something, and Andrew says, I cut school one day. I feel you.
Just one day?
Just one day? 12?
12?
There's the story there.
One?
I'll tell you the story after I read this. Cut school one day as a high school kid to catch a bus in New York City so that we could meet Lou Reed at a record signing. I brought a copy of the Velvet Underground and Nico album to get autographed. Total geek out. Did you get it autographed? Because holy crap, if you have the Velvet Underground app, the one that's actually got the banana on it, that's actually, you can actually feel it's actually like embossed on the cover, that thing is worth it. You got the one with the banana on the cover?
Oh, the European style.
You know, the banana on the cover? I'm stroking my album. It's worth some money. It is worth some money. Rodney wants to know, where is Underdog?
Underdog's around. There's no need to fear. Underdog is near.
Yes. But the 12 thing was that there. I was known to skip school quite a lot. I hated friggin' going to school, and I had mastered not going to school. I had mastered.
We should create a master class for that. You and I.
Let me text Tamar. I'm going to text Tamar, and I'm going to say, hey, I've got another class for you, a master class.
Can't call it master class anymore, though. That's, you know.
The master
Apparently,
class
I'm out of the loop on that. I don't know what that's about.
Master class of not going to class.
Right?
But
no one will show up. You passed.
Master no class.
Well, no, and that's the funny story, is that literally I know we got to the end of the school year, and I know that my days, the amount of days that I had skipped was like way up there. It had to be like, it had to be like 30s or 40s or something like that. Like I know that one teacher had me out of his class like for 72 days. Oh my God. It was like, screw it, it's not happening, I'm not doing it. But we were in a class, and they were reading the list.
This was not a class. This was our. We went to a school of the arts and performing arts, and this was our chorus class. This was our music singing class. So there were like 100 people in there, but
yes,
still.
So he's going down the list, and he's like, Amy so and missed 2 classes, so missed 4 classes,
2 days, 4 days.
And as it's going down alphabetically, and it's getting, Rob's last name starts with S, so he's like going to be way further down the list, but mine's H, and it's coming up, and everybody is like ready to laugh out loud. Like, everybody is ready to burst out, because it's like, this is Chris. He's friggin' never here. So this is going to go badly. And then they get to me, and he goes, Chris Horton, 12. And like it was like scripted. You can hear people going, 12? 12? 12 is like almost normal.
Well, I was the first one. I was up in the baritone section. You were down in the tenor section, and I'm up there, and he says, Chris Horton, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready to burst out, and he goes, 12, and I was like, 12? And everybody goes, 12?
It's got to be closer to like 50 or something.
You left out the 0. 120.
Oh my gosh. It's
when he finally came around to my name, I had less than you, and I had been
6 or 7
at that point. Yeah.
At that point, he had been hanging out with me, and he had taken the master class. He knew how it went.
He taught me everything I know.
You wait to get on the bus, and you get on the bus, you take it to school, and then when you unload from the bus, instead of walking towards your school, you walk this way off school property. And where it was in downtown Atlanta, it's called North Atlanta Schools, I think is what it's called now.
Okay.
Instead of walking to the school, you could just go down the stairs, because you could also enter down that way, which some people say, oh, we must have a class down there. But no, you just walk across the parking lot and out into the woods. You're just gone.
Wow. Wow.
And you would just kind of watch the time. And eventually, when it got towards the end of the day of school, you walk back, you get on the bus, and you go home.
Bunch of degenerates.
This is pre-internet. This is pre-internet, hey, we're going to text mom.
Yeah, no phones, no internet.
You're giving lessons on how to skip school.
No,
and
they didn't call or do anything. No, this is different now, because if you're not there, you I automatically get a text. It's like everything goes haywire. Now it's like you get alerts in like 5 different ways. It's pretty,
and languages.
yeah, exactly. and back in those days, they were like, "Are you sure he wasn't there?" Well, maybe he was.
Right, and especially in that class, there were 100 of us in there. So
yeah, it's just ridiculous. So, anyways, gentlemen, I'm gonna shut off this phone because it is
time.
It absolutely is time. Ding ding. And let me tell you, it was an amazing show. I had so much fun talking about Prince news. Yeah. And then on top of that, getting to interview the amazing Ashley Tamar Davis, which was just fantastic. I'm so happy for her. I gotta make sure. See, the thing is that Nick is also a board of director on Funkatopia for Patreon. So I got to be a little bit careful and not upset him. But
what you going to do anyway?
I'm going to do it anyways, because Nick, I love you. Nick, this is for you. Nick.
It's out of love. It's out of love.
It's out of love. It's out of love.
So much love.
Roddy's like the Atlanta Breakfast Club. Yeah, this. I mean, you're right. This is. This is.
Don't you forget about me.
This is 1980. 1983 to 1986 in downtown Atlanta. There was no documentation of anything. Everything was paper. It was like, maybe I just didn't write it down. That's basically.
Yep.
Oh my God. But anyways, yes, it was so much fun. I had a great night. And then of course, sharing some celeb stories. I definitely could have done a bunch more stories, but we're out of time. And to next week, I'll let you know in a few days what that's going to be. I have some ideas. I want to run it by the guys, and it may take a little bit more involvement, and everybody's busy.
Can I keep my pants on?
Always.
I guess we're going to change the plan then.
Oh, good.
But again, shout out to Carrie.
Put something in my writer.
One more shout out, obviously, to Carrie Martinez for the amazing Prince Originals Deluxe. She watched the Deluxe show, and she saw that I did not have. That was the only Deluxe one I didn't have, and she sent it to me. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. Also, shout out to Cassandra Bradley for sending me that awesome friggin' card, awesome Prince card. Man, it's just so cool.
That is cool. I like it.
It's a pretty awesome card. And also shout out to Jeff for making all these adjustments to the Funkatopia website. Just keeps getting better and better. Every time he touches it, it works a little better. Now there's going to be so much things coming. Every single time that we do broadcasts and we do clips, those are going to now be put on the Funkatopia site. Where there's so much stuff going on, you're going to pay attention because there's going to be some major things going on. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you click on like and follow us. I think it's just click follow us, right? That's what's happening on YouTube. Again, old guy, don't know. Just click a bunch of buttons down there.
Click stuff.
Follow, like, whatever. And I am going to go in there today. Actually, today or tomorrow, I'm going to go in there. And one of our new followers is going to get a brand new magazine that just came out. A new, trying to get it over here. This new collector's Prince 1984 magazine. I'm going to send it to you. One of our new followers. I wish that I was Mr. Beast and I could send you like substantial money, but I can't. We will get there. Jeff is going to lead the way. And see, now you switch sides, and now you're over there. You were over here. Now you're over there.
You do that?
Actually, fine.
I'm so confused.
So, anyways, thank you guys all for joining us. Yes, subscribe. Thank you, Mei Ling. Cami says, FYI, my two kitties, Morris and Jerome, are getting fixed tomorrow. So please put them in your thoughts. Still reminds me of my favorite Far Side comic where the dog is hanging out of the car and he's laughing at the other dog. Goes, ha ha, I'm going to go get tutored. Yeah. My favorite Far Side comic of all time.
Far Side.
Anyways, the best. Matter of fact, I just showed a Far Side comic to Jaden the other day about the spiders that made the web at the bottom of the slide. And it says, if we pull this off, we'll eat like kings. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll figure out exactly what that's going to be. Again, do not go to the Carolinas on Saturday to go see the Big Ol' Nasty Get Down because it has been canceled. But if you're up in the Minneapolis area, please go up there. They're doing a dance party on Saturday night with DJ Lenka Paris. Go get your tickets at paisleypark.com. It's going to be an amazing show. And make sure that you go to Amazon and buy that album from Ashley Tamar Davis. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. Absolutely buy it. It's fantastic. You got to get it. Good night, everyone. Let's go ahead and start the music. Let's see. I'll let you guys pick which song we're going to do. Let's see. How about
Ash? Wait, do you have it in your mix already?
5 Women.
I don't have 5 women. You know what? I just saw New Position, the Claire Fisher mix. Have you ever heard this?
Ooh,
I think so.
New Position.
You don't have Tamar in your mix yet, do you?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have any of the new songs in the mix, but I've got Fleek and All Life Long, and I've got Redhead Stepchild, the remake of that. So I've got those 3 that I can line up. Which one do you want
there?
Let's do All Life Long because she said there's a new video coming out for that. So let's do that. Tamar, All Life Long, and then Prince Block until 2:00 in the morning or something crazy like that. So don't go anywhere. You got lots of stuff to do. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Love you guys.
Wow, it's loud, isn't it? Awesome. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.